high back set, but they will run the option out of it. It's Smith, first man through. Smith inside the 10. Touchdown Gators.
And you talk about a fast start. That's sometimes the break that you need. First play out of the new offense, and it goes in for a touchdown. If you're a Goose Creek Gator, that's a big sigh of relief. You're finally playing ahead. Touchdown for Goose Creek.
A sigh, I don't know. It is the complete blowing out of air in this entire stadium, not just a sigh of relief right there. It's a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown. And the extra point is booted on through. So it took 12 seconds for the Gators to score for the first time in 2 weeks. And for Chris Kander, who said, I just want something positive, he's talking about positive yards, a first down, but instead he gets a fumble on the opening kickoff and a touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, it's no secret this team has struggled offensively, and whenever you can get a break of that nature, not only to get the turnover on the kickoff, but also to be able to capitalize and put it in the end zone, now all of a sudden, if you're Goose Creek, you have a little pep in your step, you're feeling good about yourself. Let's see if Bobby Marion can rally the troops and get this team focused, because you have to think, you can't worry about what's on paper. Goose Creek thinks that they can win this game tonight.
We're going to crunch some numbers brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. So this is what we're talking about. Season stats. This is not their average per game. This is what they've done in 3 games. So already 20 yards and a score on the books.
Yeah, I mean, that's very impressive to have that opening drive go that way for Goose Creek.
So here comes Miles White now after DeLeston fumbled away the first one. And Miles White able to find a seam here. White reverses field and puts the ball into that left arm. He's just now touched at the 30. He's all the way down to the 22. That's about a 68-yard return there for Miles White, trying to steal some momentum back.
And that's how you respond to adversity. Of course, they fumbled the opening kickoff, but a nice return here by Miles White, the 5'10" senior cornerback. And just like that, Goose Creek already inside, or just outside, I should say, the red zone.
Talk about a bounce back, huh?
Yeah.
You don't normally have the excitement on 2 kickoffs within the first 30 seconds of the game. Here's Kenyatta Jenkins, only a junior. You can expect some big things out of Jenkins. The late pitch, that's dropped by DeLeston, who I guess put those gloves in some oil before the game started. He recovers that one.
We talked about it. Kenyatta Jenkins, a very superb athlete, a guy that also excels on the basketball floor. You could see some of his athleticism there. They want to get him on the corner, Darren, and let him make plays in space.
Jenkins is the leading rusher on the team. He's obviously the leading passer. He has averaged 256 yards a game in total offense.
That's what we call a one-man show.
It is. And Goose Creek wants to limit his ability on the ground primarily. He gets a shot taken by Anthony Martin there as he works close to the first down. Should be about a yard short.
And believe it or not, being this early on in the game, Darren, this is obviously a huge drive for West Ashley because Goose Creek had all of that momentum. They were starting to feel good about themselves. And I think if West Ashley can drive the ball down the field and be able to put points on the board, it kind of takes that swag away from Goose Creek.
Bienvenu is the B-back, but once again, this will be Jenkins, and Jenkins is wrangled down there. Anthony Martin, the senior safety, leads the way. And that'll be pretty close to a measurement here. It may be 4th down.
When you have an athlete like Kenyatta Jenkins, just put it in his hands and tell him to go. So nothing fancy here on this opening drive for West Ashley, putting the ball in the hands of the playmaker and seeing what Kenyatta can do.
So Jenkins has a couple of carries. He has one pitch that eventually hit the turf. And once again, it's Bienvenu and Jordan Pettigrew as the 2 in the backfield. Line overloaded to the right, and Pettigrew, all he needed to do was fall forward to get that first down, and he did, just outside the 10.
Again, that's just hat on hat. Who can get their pads lower than the other and gain that all-important 1 yard that they needed to pick up that first down. So the drive will continue for West Ashley. And just right now, smash mouth football, Darren.
Yeah, nothing fancy about it. Both of these teams generally pride themselves on establishing the ground game. We would expect far more throws from Jenkins and the Wildcats. Straight handoff here to Bienvenu. He gets away from one, rumbles his way in And the Wildcats, on the strength of a nearly 70-yard kickoff return, punch it in 5 plays later for a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown. Third of the year for Bienvenu.
Nice job by the offensive line blocking here. Again, nothing fancy, just off tackle to the left, and able to bully his way into the end zone to answer that initial score by Goose Creek.
So it's a 5-play, 22-yard drive. And the point after is put right through by Samson Story. So we're tied up here. Less than 3 minutes gone by in Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy dealers, as both teams try and pick up that first 5A region victory.
I don't know about you, Darren, but I really didn't expect a lot of offense in tonight's game, and already we've only played a little over 3 minutes, and already 14 points on the board, 7 by each team.
I don't think anybody coming to this game would have expected 14 points on the board in less than 3 minutes. But hey, maybe that bodes well.
Again, both teams in 5A, the biggest classification in the state of South Carolina.
So Zaxby's fans cam. That band is positioned about, where are we? We're on the 40, so it's about 40 yards down to our right. We're outside of the press box, in fact, tonight. We're giving you a nice actual feel of what it's like to be right here inside the gates of Wildcat Stadium. It's what you call an open-air press box, the table and the tent.
Well, we don't have to worry about any condensation on the window or anything of that nature because, well, we don't have a window.
No, Dave Williams has already guaranteed us that we will not see rain. Oh, more struggle on the kickoff here. That one's loose, and I believe Goose Creek jumped back on top of it.
So we've seen 2 mishandles on kickoffs by each team. As we talk about, Darren, you know, it's always so important, kind of the squib kick here that couldn't be fielded cleanly by Goose Creek. They're very fortunate to come up with this possession.
Yeah, it'll start on the 29. First time Goose Creek had it, they ran one play. It was a Dante Smith touchdown run after West Ashley fumbled the opening kickoff. So here we go again.
You have to wonder, Darren, West Ashley probably for the past 3 games have seen the spread offense for Goose Creek. They may not be prepared for the option attack of the Gators.
Gators switched in their last game against Somerville. Here's the pitch to Tavion Major. He was the starting quarterback to begin the year, and he's got a chunk, maybe 7.5 yards for Major.
A little toss sweep that time to the left side. A nice job by the wide receivers, being able to seal their defenders, not allowing Tavion Major to get around the edge. So we talked about it, 2 offensive plays for the Gators thus far, Darren, and very positive results for Goose Creek.
Yeah, 27 yards here on 2 carries for a team that's averaged 2 points a game. This one through the middle, and that's a first down. We're very close to it. It'll just simply depend on the spot here for Dante Smith.
Jordan Williams, the 5'11" sophomore, on the stop for the Wildcats. That fullback give just kind of keeps everybody honest on the defensive front.
They'll give them the first down as you got to look at the West Ashley starters on offense. Haven't had much of a chance to talk about them. We've talked a lot about Kenyatta Jenkins, and Bienvenu 33 is the one who has the score for the Wildcats. Look at this. Nobody secures the perimeter, and another big play here immediately for Major.
Yeah, Shamar Tompkins with the touchdown-saving tackle, able to knock him out of bounds. But, I mean, if you're Chris Hander and the Goose Creek Gators, now you're thinking, where has this offense been in? But, boy, are they happy to see the offense is here tonight at Wildcat Stadium.
That was a 21-yard run. And, yeah, Kander came in saying we need positive thoughts like a first down. Your Chevy Silverado starting defense, led by Kareem Lewis. That back line is one of the strengths for the Gators, who have yet to lose yards on a single play. And when I say it's their second game running the option, last week was a short week because of Hurricane Irma.
Correct.
So the kids didn't get back in until Wednesday. You had 2 days to try and implement a new offense. So that obviously didn't go very well. Now it's a full week of practice. Guys understand their roles. Other guys have been changed around like 99, near side of the line. Former defensive lineman, now L.J. Stanley is a tight end. Here's Major. Dante Smith paves the way, and Major bulldozes his way for a first down. Tremaine James, the left tackle, also leading the way.
Yeah, Camden Middleton there on the stop. And you know the saying, Darren, if it's not broke, just leave it alone. Just keep going until they stop it. So that toss sweep to the left has worked perfectly for Goose Creek. This is the third time that they've run it, and Major's picked up a ton of positive yards on that. So, again, Goose Creek, look for them to continue to go to the well until West Ashley can make the adjustment to stop it.
Here's Smith now, just following the middle of that line, which is getting a significant push every snap they've had. That's a good 5.5 yards there for Smith.
And thus far, I think Goose Creek has only ran 2 plays. The fullback up the middle and the toss sweep to the left to Major. So very reminiscent of the old Chuck Reedy days when it was ground and pound. That's what we're seeing from the Gators.
Once again, that's the dive. This is very similar to the touchdown. Smith cuts it in, bounces off one, and is finally shaken down by Shamar Tompkins. It'll be first and goal for Smith and the Gators.
Yeah, Tompkins, that's his second tackle of this drive. Another touchdown saving tackle. And Dante Smith right now definitely in the grooves. You see here that fullback dive up the middle. He breaks it to the right side, and he could smell the end zone, just could not quite get it there. But as you mentioned, Darren, first and goal coming up for the ground and pound Goose Creek Gators.
Gators have more offense in this first quarter than they had all of last week in a loss to Somerville. Smith will lead the way for Major, and finally someone's able to get into the backfield. It's Andres Rivera, the senior end.
Yeah, Rivera there, as you mentioned, the seniors stepping up and did a nice job of filling that gap, filling the hole and not allowing the Gators to get back into the end zone. So right now it's a situation where this West Ashley defense somewhat on its heels, but they have to have that bend but don't break mentality. They can't allow the Gators to reach the end zone once again.
Knocking on the door for their second touchdown of this first quarter, pushing the pile is Smith until he got pushed back. Erica Scrippa is the third member of our crew. Let's check in with her. What's up, Erica?
All right, guys, a lot of energy on the field right now. We have the Goose Creek Gators playing the Wildcats right here in West Ashley. Already a tied game. Again, a lot of energy. Hopefully it's a good one. Keep it here on Friday Night Rivals. Back to you guys.
And if you're watching with us, get all interactive. I mean, use the hashtag Friday Night Rivals CHS. Spell it all out, then CHS. You can watch this game live on Twitter, on Facebook, on abcnews4.com, or on your couch.
I think it's safe to say if you want to watch this game, you have no excuse that you could not see it.
No, absolutely not. And that's a credit to the staff over there at ABC News 4, making sure that this game and all of them this year on Friday Night Rivals are accessible. Timeout for the Gators to secure this third down and goal play call here. They had 1 touchdown in 3 games heading into this game. They're knocking on the door for their second of the quarter.
Is proud to recognize today.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yep, it switched again.
Yeah, it did switch. I don't know how it switched.
Already over 40 yards for Dante Smith on the ground. Individually, 40 yards for Smith today is more than the Gators have averaged per game on the ground. You know, it's just hard to fathom a team that won a state championship back in 2012 when unbeaten, could have won at least another one, if not two more, that they could have fallen on times like this. But a lot of credit to Chris Kander, his staff. They've brought new coaches in like Chris Collins. And, you know, they were willing to swallow their pride a bit and switch the offense up. Dante Smith with a crushing block paves the way for Major. It's a touchdown for Tavion Major.
Yes, that same toss sweep again to the left, and if I'm not mistaken, it looked like, how about that? The young man shaking the hands of the officials and handing the ball to the ref. But here, again, a toss sweep to the left, a great block that time by Dante Smith to free up and clear that pass for his teammate Tavion Major, and 2 touchdowns there. And they've scored more points in this quarter than they had coming into tonight's game.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Well, look out, that one was almost blocked. They had pressure coming right at them, but it is 14-7 as Blake Ellington converts that one.
And it's all about that confidence. When good things start to happen, you block a little harder, you're a little faster, you start to believe, and that's exactly what's going on right now over on that Goose Creek sideline. It's been a tough start, but they really believe that this is the game that they can get, and this would be a huge win should they be able to pull it off, but still plenty of football left to be played.
That's Anthon Williams, who is a valuable member of the defensive line and also in on that kick unit. Goose Creek doesn't have the numbers it used to have, so the depth isn't exactly there. Any injury is really a significant one.
You know, you talked about Chris Collins, now the offensive coordinator for Goose Creek. He was formerly the head coach at Colleton County, and a great offensive mind. He's a guy that knows football, he knows the passing game. So you're right, Darren, to swallow his pride, a guy that wants to spread it out and get athletes in place. They recognize they don't have those athletes that they need to run that particular type of offense. So kudos to them for being able to make the switch really like within 1 week, 10 days. And it's obviously proved to be a successful move thus far.
And it's not just switching philosophy. They had spent every moment since about Christmas break figuring out how they could run, you know, the popular offense in college these days. Here's DeLeston now, finally able to hold on to the ball, and that's a good key for the Wildcats because they need him as a part of this offense, as a part of their return game. Him and Jenkins combined are much more dangerous than one of them individually. Let's check in again with Erica.
All right, thanks, guys. So we're on the field right now with Margaret Stipa with David Ayler Law Offices. Margaret, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And tell me why it's important for you guys to be involved in this program, and tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, so David loves giving back to the community and just being involved with the community, and loves to see the money that he donates going to such great causes. And this scholarship will be going to a very well-deserved student and will help them go to college, which goes a very long way. So he was happy to be donating to this cause, and we want to thank the school as well for making this scholarship possible.
And Margaret, why high school sports? Why is that important for David Ayler Law Offices?
Well, I played soccer in high school, and I know it's a huge time commitment, and it's hard to manage your time. And for a student to excel in athletics and as well with school, it shows a lot about them, with their determination and their hard work. So for this individual to win this scholarship says a lot about them, and I believe that being involved with athletics, it's kind of like it teaches you about community. It teaches you how to represent your community in your high school. And like I said, David really enjoys being involved with community, and I think that's great to learn at such a young age.
Well, thanks so much, Margaret. We appreciate you guys. Keep it here on Friday Night Rivals. I'll send it on back to you.
So David Ayler Law Offices Educator Spotlight coming up at the half. We will focus more on that. We'll have 2 scholar athletes, both of which will be eligible for a big lump sum payment at the end of the year, so stick around for our Zaxby's halftime show. At this rate, we're getting there pretty quickly. So on third down, the Wildcats convert here.
Yeah, Kenyatta Jenkins able to keep the chains moving and sustain this drive for the Wildcats. And looks like right now, Darren, they're just spreading the field out and letting Kenyatta do his thing.
It's the first pass that he has thrown. Bienvenu breaks a couple of tackles, eventually picks up about a yard we'll give them.
And a very safe pass that time, something behind the line of scrimmage. And again, you try to get these guys in the open field. And you should look at all levels of football. It's all about, getting guys in space and letting them have that freedom to make plays. And so when you have athletes like they have at West Ashley as well as Goose Creek, you don't want to just kind of keep it confined to that middle. Just get them out on the corner and let them, as we say, do their thing.
Jenkins, a sprint right to the edge of the right line. Right tackle, and that'll pick up 6, make it a manageable third down.
And give credit to this Goose Creek defense, Darren. They're making West Ashley earn everything. No big plays. They're making them go on long, sustaining drives. So there's no doubt Goose Creek has come ready to play tonight. West Ashley, they're going to have to match that intensity if they hope to get the W.
Second possession here for West Ashley. They kicked away their first one, fumbling the opening kickoff. Nicely done to set up the screen to DeLeston, who puts on the brakes, cuts one to the outside, and is finally taken down at the knees by, was it Kareem Lewis?
Either him or Vince Risher, but a great execution of the screen. Kenyatta Jenkins that time very patient. He kind of let that play develop and able to get it to his playmaker. So a nice job of not throwing that football too early, but allowing his back out of the backfield to pick up the first down.
Number 9, Anthony Martin.
Might be able to hear the public address announcer. He wanted to announce 2 different tacklers on that play, but one of them isn't listed on Goose Creek's roster, 23. We can tell you that was James Lewis, who just tackled Bienvenu.
Yeah, Bienvenu, wow, what a load. That young man, 5'9", 225, the junior running back. Kind of reminds you of Craig Ironhead Hayward.
Oh, that's a huge comparison right there.
Yes, obviously bless his soul, one of the better running backs in the NFL back in the day.
He was. And then his son was a player as well.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. There's Bienvenu, pounded as he's about a yard shy of the first down. Nick Case running all of our wonderful replays for you. They're going to be fantastic all night, I promise. He's also a Steelers fan, so he confirms Hayward's son is on the Steelers.
Gotcha. Steel curtained. But yeah, that low gravity, and you can imagine 5'9", 225. It's hard to bring that guy down, so you better tackle him low. Kind of got a feeling he will definitely run through a tackle if you try to approach him high.
Or 2, or 3. Sliferone slides from the right side of the line to the left, so he adds the extra blocker for Pettigrew. Anthony Martin is racking up a lot of tackles here in this first quarter, a play that may be the final play of the first quarter into the red zone.
Yeah, got to the second level that time. If you're Goose Creek, you don't want to see guys running essentially untouched. So the linebackers have got to do a better job of fighting off those blocks and not allowing them to get into the secondary.
West Ashley doesn't want to run that final play. So a very brisk first quarter. Goose Creek touched it twice. Goose Creek scored twice, which is absolutely the headliner for most of the sports broadcasts tonight. Certainly Friday Night Rivals at 11 on ABC News 4. Team that had 7 points on the year leads 14-7 after a quarter.
West Ashley 7.
welcome to fall, autumn. Yeah,
Right.
doesn't feel so much like it, but cooling off a little bit here in West Ashley. Rain came through, cooled us off a little bit. And both of these teams going for their first region win. Darren Goldwater, Everett German, thanks for watching us, however you're watching. Twitter, Facebook, online, or on MyTV Charleston. Here's Pettigrew now. One man falls down, so Pettigrew is able to pick up 8 yards. Again, it's Anthony Martin who's right there on the stop.
Yeah, E.J. Edie there to assist with the tackle.
Making the tackle for the Gators.
You know, we had that one pass from Kenyatta, which was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, but other than that, Darren, everything's been on the ground.
That's it. Every single play has been on the ground for both teams. This right now is going to be the 11th play of a drive that started at their own 41. Jenkins pulls. Jenkins untouched. First of the day for Kenyatta Jenkins. It's his 5th on the year. And the Wildcats claw their way within a point.
And that's the speed that we were talking about, the fake to the fullback up the middle, and just took off around the right side and able to reach the end zone untouched, as you mentioned, Darren. So take a look at the replay here. There's nothing fancy. Helmet on helmet. The offensive line did a great job of blocking and allowing Jenkins to get into the end zone.
11 plays, 59 yards. About 5 minutes on the drive.
Whoa, no good. Could that be crucial down the stretch?
Certainly could. I'll erase that 14 on my drive chart here. Scribble that out. It's 13, trailing by a point. 14-13 now is Goose Creek's lead.
Especially when you're in a contest like this that appears to be back and forth. Of course, there's still a lot of football left to be played, Darren. But yeah, anytime you miss an extra point, it does not bode well for you.
Now, how about this? This tells you how well Goose Creek's playing today compared to their first 3 games. As we crunch some numbers, Heritage Trust, Federal Credit Union, trust is everything. 91 yards on the ground. They had 115 on the entire year. Dante Smith by himself, I don't have official numbers. I know he's well over 40, and that gives him more yards individually than they had been averaging as a team.
When the kids believe in this offense, they're executing. We often say you can draw up the best plan and play, but it's all about the kids executing, and right now, that's what this Goose Creek offense is doing, and that's why they have that 1-point lead.
Part of going to the option isn't just let's get a good feel, let's move the ball, let's put points. Obviously, that's important. The other part is shorten the game.
Right,
Keep the ball away from the opponent.
Look at this.
Good help. Look out. Nobody touches him. Brandon Taylor. Goodbye. And Goose Creek leads by 7.
I don't think Bobby Marion wanted that squib kick to be kicked that short, but that's exactly what they did. He tried to squib it. It didn't even get past the second line, and he kind of caught it in stride. As we take a look here, just picked it up and just simply ran right straight up the middle. Untouched. And if you're Goose Creek right now, boy, are you feeling good about tonight.
Marshall Jackson helps out the opposition. The kicker blocked his own guy. It's a Berkeley Electric cooperative. Touchstone Energy. Touchdown right there. Boom.
Just that fast. Just when West Ashley thought they had regained momentum, Uncle Mo was back on the side of Goose Creek, as Goose Creek is missing a player on the extra point team. He's got about 10 seconds to get in, and that will not sit well with the Goose Creek coaching staff as they ask for a reset of the play clock.
That works out well for him.
Yeah, because it was showing 8 right now. Now they reset it to 25.
So Goose Creek has recovered a fumbled kickoff to start the game and has taken a squibbed kick back for a touchdown themselves. And now they've got an 8-point lead. They hadn't led all year, and here in this game they have not trailed and lead at 21-13.
And had not scored in the first half coming into tonight's game, and already 21 points. We still have a whole quarter left to be played essentially, but yeah, Darren, when you look at their stats, they've been outscored in the first half 68-0 coming into tonight's contest.
You know who doesn't get outscored? Subway. Never. All you have to do is text subs to 44332 and you'll score with them. You're going to receive an instant mobile coupon that gets you any 2 6-inch fresh value meals for just $12. Text subs to 44332. It's a delicious offer from Subway. Message and data rates will apply.
Subway should score us a sub.
That'd be nice.
Just bring it up to the top of the home stands, and Darren and I will not only give you a plug will eat the sub while we're doing it.
Yeah, and that's the way to broadcasters' hearts.
Exactly.
You can give us some small monetary fee for showing up. If you bring us food,
Exactly.
it's a different story.
And when you bring the sub, make sure you also bring a chocolate chip cookie. I don't know if you have experienced them, but they are, let's just say, very, very good.
They're excellent. Back in my non-gluten-free days, I partook in those many times. It's still the worst. So here is Pettigrew now, and Pettigrew will put West Ashley in good field position as he works close to the 35.
How many times, Darren, do you hear coaches say it's the 3 phases of football: offense, defense, and special teams? Special teams can not only win a game for you, but obviously lose a game for you. And right now, West Ashley definitely is losing the special teams battle. They've had a couple of good returns, but, of course, the fumble on the opening kickoff and then, of course, the kickoff return for a touchdown by Goose Creek. Offensively, Goose Creek is holding their own, but defensively and special teams, that's where they're lacking right now.
Yeah, we didn't have too much information provided to us by West Ashley, but one of the things you can find going back through archives as Jenkins gets blasted, but he does complete that throw. Yes, he does, to Kershaw. One of the things that, going back through archives from some of our news partners, Channel 4 and the Post and Courier, Bobby Marion stressed they need to get better in special teams. They can't be awful. They can't lose games in special teams, but right now, you fumble away the opening kick, next play is a touchdown, and then you give up a kick return, and you've missed an extra point.
And a lot of time it's just staying in your lanes when you're obviously kicking and not allowing yourself to be tied up. And so you have to sprint down the field. You have to execute on those kickoffs, because the minute you let your guard down, that's when one will be taken to the house against you.
Bienvenu rips that one away from Jenkins, then stumbles out over James Wilson. Picks up 5.
And both offensive units having so much success on the ground, we may not see another pass tonight, Darren. Both teams running the football well, picking up anywhere from 4 to 5 yards, just about on every play. So Bobby Marion kind of doing the same thing that Goose Creek is doing in terms of keeping the football on the ground.
Marion, who is a die-hard Citadel fan. He's at most Citadel basketball games for sure. His brother Joe is the head coach over at Stratford. Now they're going to get a little fancy. It's not going anywhere. Anthon Williams slings down Wendell Smalls. Back at the 41, they lost 10.
And that's one of those situations, you just keep doing what's working, and then you try to catch them sleeping. But this Goose Creek team, this is my first time seeing them, Darren. And had I not seen the stat sheets and obviously the information provided to us, you could not tell me this team had not won a game and had only scored 7 points coming in too. So this Goose Creek team, they're very focused tonight. This coaching staff has done a nice job getting this team prepared for West Ashley.
3rd down and 15. They need the 44 of the Gators. So Jenkins steps up off the hands of Kershaw, and the Wildcats will be forced to punt.
Yeah, great coverage by the secondary of Goose Creek. And while Kenyatta does have the capability to throw the football, he'd much rather keep it on the ground and use his legs. But for the first time tonight, we're going to see a punt. And that will come from West Ashley.
And Marshall Jackson here. And with Goose Creek going to the option and having spent so much time with this up-tempo, Oregon started it years ago, and lots of different teams have implemented it. I guess it goes all the way back to Spurrier, Florida days. But when you spend all offseason preparing to do one thing, and the kids get excited about their role, and then you switch to this, here's Bill Peter. Bill Peter kind of has been chasing our Friday Night Rivals game around. He has been the lead ref for most, if not all. You need some positive things to go your way. You need the kids to believe that what you're doing is the right thing.
Well, of course, that's probably an easy sell, because you kind of walk into the locker room and say, guys, listen, oh, bad snap.
But there's no pressure. So Jackson's able to get off a decent one. And a decent roll after that. He's going to put him down close to the 25. So it could have been awful. Not terrible.
But back to Chris Candor over at Goose Creek, you kind of walk into the locker room and say, guys, what we wanted to do clearly is not working. So we're going to try something else that'll give us a chance to succeed. And, when you think about option, most of the responsibility is on the quarterback and reading the tackles and reading the ends. But if you're an offensive lineman, for the most part, you block your gap, block the guy in front of you, and don't let him get past you.
You know where you're always successful? You're always successful when you go to Rick Hendrick's Chevy. Here's Dante Smith. He's successful with this dive today. There's a flag coming in, so we'll sort this all out. We're going to learn more about Rick Hendrick's Chevy and toss it to Erica.
All right, guys, thanks so much. So we're right here with Michael Ladd with Rick Hendrick Chevrolet. Michael, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Erica.
And tell me a little bit about, we've had a lot of rain, a lot of flooding recently, and, the first thing you think about is maybe home damage, but you're telling me you've gotten a lot of calls about people getting flood damage to their vehicle. How are you helping people? What are you recommending? What are you guys doing?
Well, we have had a lot of calls from folks affected by the flood. First and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are continue to go out to those folks. We are trying to make the process as seamless as possible. We're working with different lenders and insurance companies to make sure that when the client comes in, there's no issues at all. We're flying folks in from Texas and Florida and Georgia at no cost to them to buy a vehicle at Rick Hendrick Chevrolet and then allowing them to drive home. We also are working with our folks in the local community, offering them significant discounts on vehicles. The last thing anybody wants to do is have to buy a vehicle when they're not expecting to. Right. So that's our main concern, is taking care of the folks in Charleston.
And Michael, tell me what separates Rick Hendrick Chevrolet from any other local Chevy dealer.
Well, all the low country Chevy dealers do a great job, in my opinion. What does separate us at Rick Hendrick Chevrolet from other Chevy dealers is that we are Charleston's exclusive and only business elite Chevy dealership. We have 8,000 pre-owned vehicles available for immediate delivery. We also have our Shop, Click, and Drive program, which is found at rickhendrickchevy.com, which allows the client to have everything done ahead of time online without, and so when they show up, all they have to do is pick out the vehicle, drive the vehicle, and they're ready to go. Finally, I'd like to let everybody know here tonight that if they mention the ball game and they're local, and we will donate $300 to the charity of their choice, regardless of what school they're from. As long as they mention the football game and they saw us on the news here at ABC4, then they'll get $300 donated to the charity of their choice.
All right, Michael, thank you so much, and we appreciate Rick Hendrick supporting Friday Night Rivals. Keep it here. I'll send it on back to you guys.
Erica, Michael, that's pretty cool. You go there and say, I saw this on Friday Night Rivals driven by Low Country Chevy dealers, and $300 goes to any charity you want.
Let's see. What charity would I select, Darren? What charity would you select?
We're coming up on the Heart Walk, right? So I would go that way right now. Dante Smith.
Wow.
I mean, this young man needs a charity himself to keep him running like this. Just feed the young man here. 5'9"
junior running back, 190 pounds. Did he just join the football team this week? Because there's no way they've been able to keep this kid under the wraps. Having a big game, and again, out that fullback position, nothing fancy, no nose guard there. And Dante able to get into that secondary, and he's already down to the 30-yard line coming up for Goose Creek.
That was a 32-yard run for Dante Smith. It came on third down. So Goose Creek has not yet been forced to punt. They have scored every time they've touched the ball, and they have forced West Ashley to take a timeout here. They have been punched in the mouth a little bit by this option attack, which they knew was coming. They saw the film from last week, but obviously much more successful tonight for Goose Creek. 8 minutes to go in the half. It's the Gators up by 8. 8-point lead for the Gators, who are having their way with the Wildcats defensively. They have not thrown a single pass yet. They are well over 100 yards in total offense for a team that had 210 yards in offense in the first 3 games total. But even with that third down conversion now, they have yet to be stopped.
Yeah, no need to throw the football when you have my main man, Dante Smith, running wild into the secondary of West Ashley. So just keep doing what you're doing. And how about the quarterback, Dejon Singleton? I don't think he's made the wrong read yet. He looks like a pro back there leading the attack for Goose Creek.
And here's the man he took the job from, Tavion Major, who has looked very comfortable in his tailback spot. He's going to pick up 5.5. The reason they made the change, Major had just never played option football, hadn't really done it since his freshman year. He's now a senior. Singleton, who's a junior, was the JV quarterback and ran the option. So he has at least more familiarity with it. And when you have a week to install, go that way.
Well, I'd say so far so good. I would give him an A grade in terms of being able to read the tackles, read the ends, and always making the right pitch. And obviously when you got Dante Smith, the big bruising fullback, who's been running really untouched up the middle, it's going to make things easier for Goose Creek.
Thought Singleton pulled that one. Instead, it was Dante Smith, who was dropped by big Malachi Gant. It'll be third down and about 2.
And if you're West Ashley, Darren, you figure they're going to now take away that middle run and try to make Singleton make some plays on the perimeter. So let's see if they try to take away that fullback dive.
We got another David Ayler Law Office Educator Spotlight, so here's Erica.
All right, guys, thanks so much. So I'm on the field right now with home team principal Lee Runyon here at West Ashley High School. Lee, thank you for hosting us. We're really happy to be here.
It's always exciting to have your team here in our stadium, so it's always a pleasure to have you guys.
And what's it like for your students, you know, to have a Friday night football game televised?
It's fantastic. You got the opportunity, you know, the lights are on, the crowd's pumped. It's alumni night, so you got the whole community out. It's just a great experience, and you guys are a part of it, so thanks for being here.
And tell me what else you guys have going on at the school right now. What kind of new programs? How's it been so far this year?
It's been kind of a start and stop kind of year. You know, we had the eclipse and we had the weather, and this we've actually just completed our second full week of a 5-day school week. So our swim team's off to a good start. They're doing well, both boys and girls in region play. You know, tennis is doing well. You've seen our band tonight. They're doing a great job. Football could rebound tonight and hopefully play a little bit better, particularly on defense. But aside from that, we're off to a great start at West Ashley.
You said once a coach, always a coach, huh?
Yeah, 25 years, I never change.
All right, Lee, we just want to thank you again for hosting us, and we do want to present you here with this check. So Friday Night Rivals, we appreciate you being a supporter, and again, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Erica Lee, each week, MyTV Charleston, ABC News 4, proud to present that check to each participating homeschool for $500. The grant provides each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Congratulations from MyTV Charleston, ABC News 4, and Friday Night Rivals.
Yeah, Lee Runyon, a longtime basketball coach. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was once an assistant for Coach Kress, John Kress, down at COC.
Really? Mm-hmm. See, when you got Everett German up here, I mean, knowledge is just dropped on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like Dante Smith was just dropped. That was Xavier Legree who made the hit.
And normally you're dropping dimes. You think of Dilfer with the passes, but tonight, again, we won't see any passes. This is very similar to what if you were to see a Navy and Air Force football game. You know, a game that could probably take 2.5, 3 hours, and just a lot of running.
That's Chris Kander, who was a longtime defensive coordinator here before taking over as the head coach from Chuck Reedy 3 years ago. Needs this third down here, just their second third down of the day. Major will get bumped out of bounds by Camden Middleton. And it's decision time here for Goose Creek. We know Blake Ellington has a big leg.
Yeah, but you got to go for it. You're playing so well right now. If I'm Goose Creek, I'm thinking West Ashley is thinking I'm going to give it to the fullback. And maybe this is a situation where you maybe take it around the edge, but it looks like the field goal team is coming on for Goose Creek.
Remember, West Ashley missed that extra point. So this balloons the lead out to 11. If, in fact, he can convert. It'll be a 35-yard try here for Ellington. And it's his first field goal attempt of the year.
Can he get there?
Oh, yes, with absolutely no room to spare. Blake Ellington knocks it through, his first try of the year, much to the delight of Chris Kander. And it is 24-13. Everything going right now for the Wildcats.
And it's all about that confidence. I mean, Kander thought that his kicker Ellington could knock it down. So now if you're Blake Ellington, you're feeling good about yourself. So there's not one particular football player wearing a white jersey tonight that is not feeling good about this. And right now, if you're Chris Kander, you want to make sure you go into the locker room with a minimum of an 11-point lead. If you're Bobby Marion, obviously you want to try to get some points on the board before the half because Goose Creek will get the ball to start the second half.
That was their second straight extended drive, the Gators. The last possession, it was a 10-play drive. This was a 8-play drive, and it spanned 53 yards. There aren't a ton of happy fans. We get a look at our Zaxby's fans cam here, but she's definitely one. Enjoy a Friday night high school football game. What better place to be right now?
The Zaxby's is right across the street there. And at halftime, why don't you just run over to Zaxby's, pick us up, you know, something to eat, and just bring it back, and you got 20 minutes.
It's the sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what is the zesty sauce. Is that what it is?
It is outstanding.
I have to sit here and navigate through halftime while you get like a 20-minute break. So why don't you run over there?
Sounds like a plan.
Here's Pettigrew. At least he had the awareness to get his knee off the ground before he picked the ball up. So he gets another 2 yards after that, but more trouble handling kicks, and they're back at the 17.
It's really weird. I mean, it's not misting or obviously didn't rain, anything of that nature. I don't know if it's just a lack of focus or, you know, taking their eyes off of the football. But, yeah, this West Ashley kickoff return team has had a lot of problems tonight.
Please report to your designated spots for alumni night. St. Andrews alumni.
Last time the Wildcats had the football, they punted. The only punt in this game, and we're pushing our way down towards halftime already. Jenkins to DeLeston, spins off one. James Wilson won't let him go. Jerry Jenkins helped out, and he's going to lose a yard.
Big Jerry, the 6'3" senior, injured Gator on the field. Appears to be Samari Buford, the 6'1" sophomore
West Ashley alumni should gather near the wheelchair ramp
defensive
on
lineman.
the concession side.
Goose Creek took one injury earlier in this game, and it was Anthon Williams. He was eventually helped off the field and has been back on it since. But
in just a moment,
appears as though Samari Buford here is in considerable pain.
On that particular play, great penetration by the Gator defense in the backfield. It's amazing, Darren, when you have confidence, just how things just change. You start to believe, and you know you're faster and you're stronger, and you're just things that you didn't think you could do. All of a sudden, now you're doing, and that's what we're seeing here in the first half for the Gators.
Looking at the lower portion of the left leg of Buford.
It's kind of immediate. As soon as it happened, you saw the official kind of signal to the sideline to come out. So hopefully this young man will be able to not suffer any serious damage.
They asked the Goose Creek sideline for a couple of big guys so that he can put his arms around him and get helped off the field.
Buford will get a little assistance. Hopefully, as we said, nothing too serious, Darren. So he's had a phenomenal game as we take a look here. Oh, it looks like his left leg kind of got caught under him.
once more, ladies and gentlemen, all
just
alumni
buckled down.
from St. Andrews should meet at the Rock on the south end of the stadium.
So 2nd down and 11 will be the result of that here for the Wildcats, who had 63 yards of offense in the first quarter.
To the left of the homestand, and West Ashley by the wheelchair ramp.
They're still shy of 90 on the game.
Now, Darren, we talked about it. This is a big drive. 4 minutes left in the first half. Goose Creek gets the ball to start the second half. Oh, boy.
And they got the ball right now. That ball was thrown right to Julian Lawrence, who has a cavalry down the sideline. Touchdown, Gators.
You had two Wildcats take each other out. Just a bad throw by Jenkins. It was overthrown to his intended receiver, and being in the right place at the right time was Julian Lawrence. And that's the 30th point of the night, Darren, for Goose Creek.
They had 7 in 3 games, and they've got 30 on the board with 4 minutes to go in the half.
Wow. I don't think anyone saw this coming, Darren.
No, this is eye-opening for not just West Ashley and the adjustments that they will undoubtedly make in the half, but for other teams in Region 5A who, for the first few weeks of the year, thought Goose Creek was continuing a little bit of a slide, and now all of a sudden a West Ashley team that has high hopes this year is really taking a pounding here in the first half. Goose Creek has scored in all 3 phases. They have a kick return for a touchdown, they have a pick 6, and their offense is yet to be stopped.
And that's the scary part of your Bobby Marion, and why this next 353 is so important, because of that fact. You hadn't stopped them all night. They're going to get the football to start the second half. You know they're going to just essentially run the football. So in terms of possessions, you don't know how many you're going to have in the second half. So it's crucial, absolutely a must, almost a must score for West Ashley, and then hopefully they can get some momentum going into the locker room.
Set to kick off for the Gators, number 27.
West Ashley has 22 yards of offense in this quarter. So they've got 85 yards of offense. Part of that is due to Goose Creek having the ball more often. They've dominated time of possession, but that has been helped out by West Ashley turnovers. Pettigrew catches it on the run at the 17, lowers his shoulder, goes straight up the numbers to the 33. So a 16-yard return right there for Pettigrew.
And even when you look at the West Ashley sideline, not a lot of energy. It's kind of the body language isn't really strong. Somebody's going to have to step up and make a play for this Wildcat team, who seems like they've just been going through the motion here early on, Darren, and that's why they find themselves trailing 31-13. So an important 3:46 coming up for the Gators. You definitely don't want to give the ball back to Goose Creek before the half.
No, that can't happen if you're West Ashley. Especially since the Wildcats haven't stopped the Gators once, as you just pointed out. This is going to pick up a yard. Now, I wonder, we heard from both principals, and this is just the second full week of classes. I think it's easy to get lost on someone like me, someone like you, but with the hurricane, with the eclipse, there hasn't been a consistent 5 full days. These are young kids, so 5 full days in school, you're thinking, this team has 7 points on the year. You wonder how well practice went this week.
Yeah, and we are talking about young men here who are, 18 and younger. And you're right, focused. And we talked about that. That's why it was so important for them to get off to a quick start, that being West Ashley, because you don't want to give a team that's basically been down the thought process that they can actually get a win here. And I think now what you're seeing is this Goose Creek team, they're in this game. They know this is their game to win, and they're showing it on the field. So this is a very dangerous situation to be in if you're the Wildcats.
That was a dangerous pass. Dellison rips it away, and then is upended and tabletopped.
Wow, what a tackle made by Craig Dominguez. I mean, you talk about, that was a technique tackle. So take a look at the replay here. Able to put his face mask right in his chest. Just kind of drive it backwards.
Because of that tackle, they're short of the first down. So here's a 4th down.
And the clock's still continuing to run because he did not get out of bounds.
Yeah.
Safe to say, I think the ball will stay in the hands of number 1, Kenyatta Jenkins.
They need a yard, a true yard. And it's not so safe to say. Pettigrew down. Jerry Jenkins was there. Anthon Williams in as well. Goose Creek gets the ball back. Not only that, they get it inside of the West Ashley 40.
Yeah, James Wilson also there, and just too much penetration by this front 4 of the Goose Creek Gators. And they had a roll call at the football. 5 white jerseys in the backfield. That play didn't have a chance to have any success. And as you mentioned, Darren, not only did you not pick up the first down, but now you give Goose Creek a short field with 1:54 left to play.
And it's Pettigrew, the ball carrier on that play, who is now getting attended to by the athletic training staff here at West Ashley.
And here's where you have to be careful, because you say, okay, they're going to run the football. They've not thrown the football yet, and that's where you have a tendency to let your guard down. You fake to the fullback, you fake to the tailback, and then you just have guys running down the field. You have to be very careful here if you are West Ashley.
That, by definition, is what an option offense is all about. Lull them to sleep and then have the ability to hit the home run ball. And that's what, if you look around statistically, if you look at Navy stats, Air Force's stats, the Citadel locally, passing yards per completion, they are typically around the top of the country.
Right.
Because when they pass, it is for large chunks of yards.
20 to 30 yards at a time. And it's usually a tight end, running the seam route, or, if you have a tall wide receiver, just send him on a fly pattern, just throw it up and let that guy go get it. So you have to be fundamentally and technically sound here if you're West Ashley, especially in the secondary.
2 timeouts to work with. Dante Smith, the lead blocker here for Major, with a flag in behind the play. So we'll check on that 6-yard run.
Zone in the normal area of holding. But then again, also, Dan, if you're Chris Candor, the head coach of Goose Creek, you have a very commanding lead. I think you'd be happy to go into the locker room leading 31-13. If you can break off a big run, fine. But you don't want to put the ball in the air, maybe have an interception return for a touchdown and give them a little momentum here. So let's see how Goose Creek attacks this last 146.
The last thing, the only thing that would be a problem on this drive would be giving up points against them.
Correct. Especially with that penalty, which backs it back to the 50-yard line. Yeah, I think I would just be content facing first down and 20 to just basically run out this clock and go into the locker room with a big lead and getting the ball in the second half.
You missed the opening kickoff. West Ashley got it, and it was fumbled. It led to a Goose Creek touchdown one play later from that man Smith, who was stacked up by a host. Jay Smith was in there. Andres Rivera, a couple of D linemen.
It's all about owning the line of scrimmage. That particular play, the West Ashley's defensive front four definitely won that battle. That really, Darren, if I'm not mistaken, probably one of the only, maybe the only negative play Goose Creek has had in the first half.
So, hello from our tent in the stands. Without this setup, I don't know if we could have gotten this wonderful shot. Yep, what's going on? Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy and our awesome crew here as well.
This is how you tailgate, watch the football game. We should try this at Happy Valley or Death Valley and just go watch a Penn State or a Clemson game with a tent over our head.
There was a brief moment when it looked as though powers that be wanted us broadcasting this game on the track behind the home sideline.
There you go.
And kind of down in the corner. So this is better than that.
Clearly, yeah, we can see who's doing what. What I saw was Dante Smith did a lot in the first half.
He did a ton. I don't have the individual numbers for you, exactly the yardages. They do have to run one more play. There was a 1 second differential. And Major would be wise just to go down and not fumble this one. And that's what will happen with the help of some West Ashley defenders. It looked like Xavier Legree led that charge. So, Goose Creek, who had 210 yards of offense and 7 total points in 3 games coming into this, puts up well over 100 yards of offense and 31 points. They score in all 3 phases of the game here in this first half. And they have stunned West Ashley in the first 24 minutes, leading at 31-13.
Yeah, a little shocked by this, but even running off the field, Darren, into the locker room, Goose Creek sprinted off the field, feeling good. The West Ashley Wildcats kind of taking their time walking. Yeah, I think right now, mentally, Goose Creek definitely has the edge.
We were hoping to hear from Chris Candor, and that is going to happen. Erica Scrippa and her crew down on the sidelines working hard. So Chris Candor is in position, out of breath, but not as out of breath as Dante Smith. What a half to Chris and Eric.
All right, guys, right now we're on the field with the leading team right here at the half. Head coach of Goose Creek High School, Chris Kinder. Coach, things are looking strong for you guys. A pretty solid lead. How are you feeling so far?
Definitely. I mean, feeling great. You know, we've been averaging a little over 2 points a game on offense, so to put 31 up there in the first half, it's been a total team effort. You know, we finally, I think, got the defense settled down, and they're playing a little better. But the offense has come to play tonight. They've taken some pride in the fact that they haven't done very well, and they don't want to be the guys that, always just let everybody down. So they took a lot of pride this week in practice, and coming out, we're playing hard. I mean, it's a long half. They're a good football team, so we'll see what happens. We're going to try to keep the energy level up and try to keep the foot on the gas pedal.
So what's your strategy going into the next half here? How do you want to keep? I'm sure you want to keep this up.
Definitely. We want to keep doing what we're doing, and we'll see how they make their adjustments on us offensively, because we've really, to be honest with you, only ran a couple plays offensively. We've either run sweep or some option stuff. So we may have to, delve into the bag a little bit and get a few more things out as they make adjustments. And then defensively, the whole key to playing defense against West Ashley is being able to line up. They have a lot of formations, and I think early we were a little gun shy and weren't making the calls correctly, and maybe weren't stunning correctly. But good things have finally happened for us. So they're playing with a little bit of energy, and play with a lot of energy, good things will happen, and you overcome mistakes with a lot of energy. So.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Coach. Best of luck in the next half. Thank you. We'll send it on back to you. Keep it here, Friday Night Rivals.
132 yards of offense in that first half, 210 yards in the 6 halves prior. Unbelievable turnaround for Kinder and the Gators, who lead it by 18. Zaxby's halftime show coming your way.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is once again alumni night to recognize the Middleton and the West Ashley alumni. We are both honoring the 1965 Boys State Championship. In 1897, St. Andrew's School was established as an old church on the Charlestown plantation of Mr. Edward LeGree. One teacher taught all grades, and the first pupils of the school were Mr. LeGree's children, grandchildren, and the neighborhood children. His second school was established in 1899 for the children living on Savannah Highway who were not able to get to the other school. The two schools consolidated in 1909 at the Savannah location. In 1980, schools were moved to the present location of St. It was known as the Little Brown Schoolhouse. Due to the increased number of students, building was enlarged in 1919.
It is the Zaxby's halftime show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. According to Everett, there's a location right across the street from West Ashley High School. So if you're watching us in the stands, go to Zaxby's after this. You can also text to Zaxby's and have a chance to win some free chicken. And that's the key word as well, chicken. Text chicken to 44332. You have a chance to win $100 worth of delicious Zaxby's. All you have to do is follow the instructions. Text chicken to 44332. Every week, David Ayler Law Office is proud to highlight scholar athletes from each participating school. Students have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the year. And here are our scholar athletes. For West Ashley, Isabel Del Mastro has a 4.68 GPA. Top female runner for cross country for 3 years. Holds a record in the 1,600 and 3,200 races. Not bad. Elijah Dennis, almost a 4.0. He's top 10 in his class as well. Those are your David Ayler Law Office's Scholar Athletes of the Week. Both entered to win the $5,000 scholarship at the end of the year. We are at the end of the first. I think you heard Everett. Everett.
Tonight we honor those state champions. The 1965 boys team is represented tonight. Mr. Gerald Jones. Continue. Each one is being given a shirt tonight in recognition of that honor in the St. Andrews colors, the Columbia blue and white. Second honoree, Billy McKee. Bubba Seacrest, who, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, was a school bus driver as a student for the team for that year. Ray Morrison. Dewey Nettles. Buddy Petit. And one of my high school basketball coaches, Gene Spencer. Steve Whit.
Looking at the stats, and they just blew me away. I might be way off. Anyway, it's the Zaxby's halftime show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers, platter, or salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. The winner of every Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers game, gets that beautiful trophy. Tonight's trophy is presented by All American Awards in Mount Pleasant. They've been in business over 20 years and are your source for corporate and sports awards. Remember, All American Awards, when you recognize excellence.
The Willie Gray Opportunity School is a 14-week GED military-style program. We are a state-funded agency offered to students at no cost. We give students the structure they need, the education they need, and the skills they need to become successful adults. Being involved in the Friday Night Rivals gives us an opportunity to have outreach in the Low Country and also help support the high school athletes in the Charleston area.
I believe the group has a...
All around the country, Friday Night Rivals. It's not driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. Only we are privileged enough to be driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. But Friday Night Rivals is all across the country, and it's become quite a big deal. Such a big deal, we have a highlight package every single week. We still have not had a Charleston highlight yet. All right, so this is the Alta Hawks. Look at that score, double overtime, tied at 66.
Yeah.
Number 5 scores.
That was defensive struggle.
Yes.
Yeah, first team to 72 wins.
All right, where are we here? New Bedford, Tussey Mountain, I think that's Pennsylvania. Yeah, Johnstown. Look at that, just took it away.
Just take it away. Just get in the weight room.
You know what that team looks like? It looks like a team that's going to be playing tomorrow night against Iowa.
Right, you're Nittany Lions.
That was not the Little Lions, though, of State College High School. Now we're going to Pensacola, Florida. Hopefully they're okay with Irma having come through there. That's a nice little block punt. Oh, he doesn't go down.
Oh, that's a block. Hello, how you doing?
I like these little highlights here. At least we're able to see
Hoover, Alabama.
Picked? He caught it?
Yes, first down.
Now, is that Spain Park or Hoover?
I think Hoover's orange and black, so I'm going to go with Hoover.
All right, well, one should not have caught that ball, but he did.
Somehow, some way. Oh, back to Hoover.
All right.
There we go. Oh,
this is a big quarterback.
Wide open.
No way you're getting in, are you?
Oh,
fumble.
Yeah, he did. Made that guy miss.
Solid. So solid. Spain Park. Look at those graphics. You recognize them? So solid that they got back-to-back plays.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have not yet had a Charleston highlight. Corporate guys, we love you. Next week, halftime continues 31-13 here in Charleston on Friday Night Rivals with highlights. It's the Zaxby's halftime show. Zaxby's can cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter, the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. Time to get our cheerleaders involved here. It's our Spirit Award. It's simple instructions. Text Cheer A if you like the West Ashley cheer. Text Cheer B if you like the Goose Creek cheer. And that text number is 44332. And here are the cheers.
West Ashley, go Cats! WWWE! S with a T! ASHLEY! West Ashley, go Cats! 1, 2. Let's go, West Ashley! I-E, Gators, show your pride!
Oh, this is it.
P-R-I-E, Gators, show your pride. P-R-I-E, Gators, show your pride.
All right, so those are your cheers of the night. Simple instructions, cheer A to 44332 or cheer B to 44332. Some scores from around the area. Ouch. Wow. Fort Dorchester they're going to put a hurting on a lot of people. Wando has bounced back quite nicely from taking that beating from Fort Dorchester last week.
Yeah, you think about Goose Creek and Stratford, where those programs used to be back under the Chuck Reedy and Ray Stackley days. Both programs have definitely fallen a notch or two.
Somerville leading Ashley Ridge, a team that narrowly escaped West Ashley with a win, and then next week goes to Goose Creek. That game is our game again. Friday Night Rivals will feature Goose Creek back-to-back weeks as Ashley Ridge tries to move to 2-0 in the region. But Somerville, keep an eye out. As the year goes on and they get better, I think the Green Wave have a chance to be a pretty good team this year. The second half is almost upon us. Can Goose Creek keep whatever was in that bottle out of the half into the second half? And what adjustments will the Wildcats make? Those answers and so much more, I'm sure, in the second half.
In 30 years,
It's now time for your chance to win huge, we're talking huge, cash card to Subway restaurants worth $500. It's huge. Simple, just text Subway to 44332. You're going to be entered to win this Subway for a Year contest. One winner will be notified October 30th. Thank you to our friends over at Subway.
Giving away an opportunity to vote for tonight's Spirit Award.
Here's what happened in the first half. It got started with that muff punt, and Goose Creek was rolling from 10 seconds on it.
Yeah, not the start that Bobby Marion was looking for, and give credit to Goose Creek, able to capitalize with this one-play touchdown drive for the Gators.
That was Dante Smith. Quickly, West Ashley got a good kick return and punched it right in with Bienvenu. Back to the ground for Goose Creek.
Yeah, right now, Tavion Major, I should say, on the toss sweep. We heard Coach Kander talk about it. Not a lot of plays ran in the first half. That was one that worked well.
Kenyatta Jenkins has been bulk of the offense for the Wildcats this year. He's pushing up on 800 total yards, so he's got that score for him. And this didn't work out exactly how they planned. A pooch kick, and Brandon Taylor gone.
Yep, took it to the house, straight up the middle, untouched. And that's really when the momentum really switched to the side of Goose Creek. And then you see the pick six here. The secondary coming up with the big stop. And Julian Lawrence in the right spot at the right time and able to take it to the house and put 6 on the board for the Gators.
And after all of that adds up to a 31-13 lead. It's the Gators who will get the opening kickoff in the second half. Here we go, crunching numbers again, brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Trust is everything. They have not attempted a pass. It's a totally different offense than it used to be. Rushing yards officially tonight are 208. That's not right. There is a mix-up in the stats.
Right.
So our guys in the truck are doing their job. Officially, that's what it says. It'll be changed. They're at about 132 tonight, which is still very, very impressive. as is the 31 points compared to the 7 they had scored in 3 games.
Well, trust and believe the first half was all Goose Creek. Offensively, defensively, special teams. Not much that Goose Creek did wrong in the first half of tonight's ball game. But the question is, football game is 4 quarters, 2 halves. Can Goose Creek come out with that same intensity here in the third quarter?
You know, if you're West Ashley, you probably felt like 208 yards to run against you.
Exactly. Again, when you don't force a team to punt, that's a long half.
All right, Bobby Marion is standing by right now with Erica Scrippa. By standing, I mean he's on his way.
Gotcha.
To Erica Scrippa, and then he will be standing there with her.
We definitely need Erica to stand. Erica stands about 4'11", so we're trying to find somebody that she can interview where she doesn't have to break her arm trying to interview that particular person.
Did you see last week talking to Carlos Dunlap?
I mean, classic. I had to stop and rewind. I told her before the game, yeah, next time we're going to get you a ladder so that you can interview somebody 6'7".
Yeah, a box or something. Well, they're getting ready down there. Erica is now with Bobby Marion.
All right, thanks, guys. So we're on the field right now getting ready to get started with the next half of the game. I have with me here Coach Bobby Marion, West Ashley High School. Home game for you. A little bit of a start you probably weren't hoping for. Tell me what you're looking to do in the next half here.
Well, we're looking to come out and play better football and win the second half. You know, if anything could go wrong for us in the first half, it went wrong for us. So we're just going to challenge our kids, and hopefully they'll come back out with a bunch of resiliency and play better in the second half.
And you're coming on so far this season with a 2-1 score, so you're not looking bad so far. I'm sure you want to continue those wins today.
Yeah, we do. We want to come back. Main thing, we want to see what kind of character we're going to have in the second half, because a little bit of adversity in the first half, and you know, it's easy to play when you're ahead all the time, but now you got to see how you can play when you're behind.
Great. All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck to you. All right, guys, I'll send it back to you. Keep it here, Friday Night Rivals.
Got to imagine that was the message to the guys. It was probably somewhat heated. If you know Bobby Marion, you get a sense of his attitude from the first half. He's challenged his guys. They didn't play well. Now they've got their back up against the wall, and it's a tall wall to scale. Down by 18 points here and giving the ball to Goose Creek to start this half.
Needless to say, you need to force a 3 and out, get the ball back into the hands of Kenyatta, and see what he can do from that quarterback position and get this game back in their favor.
Chris Kander looking for the first win on the season for the Gators. He's on that sideline somewhere. West Ashley was off to a 2-0 start and then got tripped up last week by Ashley Ridge. Bobby Marion's team came so close, 3 points away, got an onside kick with about 30 seconds left and picked up 1 first down, and that was all.
Yeah, they trailed, 14-0 last week against Ashley Ridge. And really, I mean, you think about it, last week, Darren, against the Swamp Foxes, they held them to just 23 yards rushing. So to have Goose Creek kind of come in and really have a lot of success running the football against them is a little bit shocking. So we'll see if Bobby Marion and the defense, if they make the adjustments. Not to coach from the top of the press box, but if it were me, I'd definitely probably take away that fullback dive, that being Dante Smith, and make them kind of test the perimeter to see if your guys can get a stop there.
It's obviously more complicated when you break it down, X's and O's, but stopping the option starts with stopping the B-back, stopping that fullback dive, and playing defensively your job. Everyone's got a job, everyone's got a gap, everyone's got a guy. The point of the option is to fool the defender's eyes, create some big gaps. So that's what it is right now for West Ashley. Keep your heads about to be tough.
I think back to Brent Venables, the outstanding defensive coordinator for Clemson. I know one thing, Darren, when they get prepared to play teams like Georgia Tech, they actually practice without a football. So you're going through your reads and, again, being disciplined and not watching the football, but being where you're supposed to be. So let's see if the Wildcats have that discipline here in the second half to stop this Goose Creek offense.
Brandon Taylor took a kick like that back for a touchdown in the first half. That'll be Cameron Patton to position Goose Creek just outside the 35. I like that idea from Venables because if you try and have your scout team run the option, it's not even feasible.
Right.
Yeah, they can't run it with that speed. Not even close. So you take the ball out, they can move faster.
And you have to, assignment football. And that's why, you have to, it's arguable that, Brent Venables right now, one of the if not the top defensive coordinator in the country, especially after that performance last week against Louisville, a very outstanding offensive football team.
Yeah, they shut them down. Here's Major, cuts on a dime, up the field, into West Ashley territory, and another big chunk on the opening play here in the second half. That's an 18-yard run. Our Zaxby's fans, Cam, youngsters, they're not really concerned with who's winning and losing.
Yeah.
Maybe they're Goose Creek fans anyway.
As long as she has her lollipop, she is happy as she can be.
You know who is suddenly obsessed with lollipops?
I'm going to guess G.
Grace.
Yes.
My daughter, who's 4.5, I mean, she wakes up in the morning, it's, can I have a lollipop? Why don't we wait a little bit?
At least she's consistent.
let's have a breakfast, maybe lunch. There's Dante Smith, 4 yards right there.
So that's the first fullback dive of the second half, and for the most part, West Ashley did a nice job of taking that away. But again, this Goose Creek offense, they're a ball control offense there, so they want to shorten this game. They want to, get this play clock down, snap it within, 5 seconds of the play clock expiring. So, although I say that, Darren, and I'm looking in the end zones, and the play clock's not moving. Now it's moving.
Yeah, it took them a while to get that one started. But they have shortened the game in terms of holding onto the football and picking up first downs. This is another big yard gained or picked up here by Major as Rivera slows his progress. It'll be a manageable third down. This team had 16 first downs in 3 games. They had 7 in the first half, so they've got 8 in the game here already.
I mean, this is what we call an offensive explosion based on what Goose Creek has done this season. So right now, you kind of go into what I consider we call Big Ten offense. You just get 3 yards, pick up 4 on the third down, and just kind of keep it going and just keep that clock moving.
Yeah, they're fine with that. Stay on schedule. You hear that a lot with option teams. Keep moving the ball forwards. He will right there. Smith is stacked up. He's going to be 2 yards short of the first down. Rivera was in there, and Malachi Gant from the bottom of that pile.
You think about it, Darren, this is an option offense. I don't think they've forced DeJon Singleton to pitch the ball one time tonight. Everything's been a fullback give or the toss sweep to his tailback, Tavion Major. So it'd be interesting to see him go down the line and make him pitch. And fourth down, and it looks like the Gators are going to go for it. And why not? I mean, you've had success all night. Let's see what they do here.
Look how clean Singleton's jersey is. He's taken every snap of this game. He's barely been touched and was almost gifted a first down. And Chris Kander wants a timeout.
And that was a situation, a missed opportunity by Goose Creek. West actually jumped, and if they'd simply snapped the ball, it could have been an automatic first down. I think Chris Kander just wanted to try to get them to jump. When they didn't, that's why he's going to take a timeout and probably punt the ball away.
It's hard to say this is a huge play in the game. There's 9 minutes to go in the third quarter, but the momentum is there. The defense has been as strong as the offense has been. If you go for it here and miss, and suddenly the Wildcats pick up there, that's one of those things that Chris Kander will struggle to sleep with if it totally changes the tides.
Yeah, and I guess your defense really has played decent tonight. I mean, you've only given up 13 points thus far, and those 13 points were long time consuming drives. So you have obviously the clock on your side. So yeah, if I'm Chris Kander being this close to the midfield, I just punt it away and give my defense a chance to come up with a big stop.
Kander leading his alma mater. He graduated from Goose Creek, went to South Carolina, picked up his master's over at the Citadel. Very familiar with coaching down here in the Low Country. Was a defensive coordinator at Goose Creek. Prior to that, was defensive coordinator here at West Ashley and was at Stratford for a long time, working with Bobby Marion on Ray Stackley's staff.
Speaking of the Citadel in South Carolina, I got a text during the halftime from Craig Glover. I'll have to tell you about that story after this play.
So here it is, fourth down, and Major breaks the tackle, has the first down, and the Gators move the chains.
We talked about Chris Collins coming from Colleton County, and back in the day, Darren, my high school days, Colleton County was notorious for the toss sweep. I think they had 3 plays, toss sweep left, toss sweep right, and just give it up the middle. You could not stop it, and that's an old throwback play from the Walterboro Bulldog days, now Colleton County Cougars, and another first down and another opportunity for Goose Creek to continue to basically erase that clock.
Yeah. Took the opening kickoff, started at their own 37. Here's the 6th play of this drive. And Major can throw. Major will set up. Here is that deep shot, and it's almost picked off right through the hands of Miles White.
Yeah, great coverage by the secondary.
He wanted Cameron Patton there.
But, you know, one of those situations we're talking about the throw, I was talking about Craig Glover. His son, Alex, played at the Citadel. And, of course, he was on that team that beat South Carolina. And we were talking about how you can kind of throw out that option. He sent me the play where Alex had a big catch at Williams-Brice Stadium. And it came out of that same option where you kind of go down the line of scrimmage as if you're running the option. Then you kind of take 2 steps back and just launch it. And well, let's just say the Citadel won that day. In Columbia.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Quite the upset of South Carolina.
Cock shock number 2.
Bulldogs had done that once before. Major strung out. That's the best pursuit for this West Ashley defense tonight. It'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Definitely sideline to sideline. Great pursuit by the linebackers of West Ashley. And a nice job, he talked about not letting him kind of turn that corner. So a big 3rd down, I believe, Darren. Is it 3rd or 2nd? 3rd down coming up. Yeah, 3rd down coming up. For this West Ashley defense. They have got to get off of the field.
This is about to be the 8th play of this drive. In the first half, Goose Creek had a 10-play drive and a 9-play drive that ended in a field goal. The 10-play drive ended in a touchdown. So 3rd down and 11 officially. Singleton had to make a decision there. You can see West Ashley's defense starting to figure this out as Rivera wraps him after a 5-yard run.
And Singleton's done a nice job of just managing this game, not trying to do anything that he's not comfortable with doing, just simply handing it off to his playmakers, and when forced to run, that's what he's done. So a great job of just simply, you know, managing this offense for Chris Candor, and they're going to go for it again, Darren, on 4th down, being at the 30-yard line.
They're out of field goal range. We saw the 35-yard field goal in the first half that had not another yard to spare before going through, so why punt?
And even if you don't get it, you're so deep in their territory, it's going to be okay.
2nd pass of the year, potentially. Nope, Singleton isn't going anywhere. Quickly blown up by Shamar Tompkins. Goose Creek never saw that blitz coming.
We've called the junior's name quite often tonight. Shamar Tompkins with a big play to sack in the back field. As you see him rolling left here, Singleton. It would have been a tough throw anyway, throwing across your body, him being the right-hander. But finally, West Ashley gets the Gators off of the field. But a lot of time taken off the clock by Goose Creek.
27 yards on that drive. But, yeah, you're right. The most important thing is they ate up the first third of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, good job by E.J. Edie again, making the stop for the Gators. And again, just running sideline to sideline. This Goose Creek defense has done a nice job tonight.
Got it out of his hands quickly. Delliston bangs off one man there, Anthony Martin. The rest of the defense gangs up. Here's 3rd down coming for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Martin also got a little help from James Wilson. We've called his name, the senior, tonight. And obviously you can tell this West Ashley offense in kind of in the 2-minute mode. They know that they're going to have to throw the football if they want to get back into this game.
And it would help if Delliston is not hurt badly here. This is a huge part of their offense. Delliston's the leading receiver on the team. He's one of the top rushers on the team. They'll check on him, and we'll give you a word from our sponsors. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy dealers. 18-point lead, same as it was at the half. Delliston looks to be okay. Standing on the sidelines, helmet on, drinking some water. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for West Ashley here. Their first possession of this second half. And that looked like a little bit of miscommunication, but it works out just fine. Bienvenu picks up that first down at midfield.
I don't think that guy's going to get stopped on many short down situations. He is a load, and he is produced every time the ball has been given to him. Now they're going to spread him out into that slot position.
It went pretty fast. I don't know if they were set.
Well, not a very humid night tonight, Darren, but you see some guys maybe catching some cramps, which means it's time to break out the old pickle juice. I mean, the pickle juice works every single time.
Have you ever had pickle juice?
Yes. So here's how I discovered that high school players drink pickle juice. We're at Colleton County 2 years ago, and as you know, Darren, I had a kidney transplant 6 years ago.
That's
so I'm
right.
taking my kidney meds, and so I grabbed just a water bottle, you know, on the side.
I love where this is going. Kershaw, that'll be short of the first down, about 5 yards there.
A little talking here. And wisely, both teams separated. Nice catch that time by Dominique Kershaw, as you said. So, yeah, Darren, so I'm like, you know, I need to go ahead and take my meds. And so I don't see any trainers around, but I see the water bottles. And so I figure, you know, I know how to do this. You just kind of squirt the, you know, the water in your mouth and just kind of go, you know, go forward. So I pop my meds, squirt, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, this is pickle juice. And so the trainer comes, I'm like, she's like, yeah, this is pickle juice. And she explained, that's how I, you know, figured out that that's what the kids do for cramps. So, yeah, that's the old pickle juice story.
That's great.
Actually, no, prednisone and anti-rejection drugs don't taste as well when you have pickle juice as the liquid.
I mean, chocolate, steak, none of it tastes as good when you're downing pickle juice to go along with it.
Good point.
Goose Creek just took that timeout. They had to run a player off the field. But obviously right now, Bobby Marion's defense shored some things up, forced Goose Creek off the field for the first time today without points. Now the offense putting something together here.
But unfortunately, you don't have time to just kind of do a time-consuming drive. You have to score quickly. It's 6 minutes left here in the third quarter. And you have to figure every time Goose Creek touches the football, that's at least 2 to 3 minutes off of the clock. So let's see if Kenyatta Jenkins can come up with the big plays. Got some big play threats on the outside. Let's see if he can get the ball to them.
They've already been throwing more here. That's back to Dominique Kershaw. No relation to Clayton. That'll move the chains.
Say
37.
Say it ain't so.
You know, it's baseball. We're getting close to the playoffs.
Yeah,
you hear Kershaw and you think some nasty lefty.
Yeah. Dominique's a right-hander. Clayton's a left-hander. So, but yeah, other than that, that's
first down.
Dominique, another good basketball player. Ooh, that one behind Delliston a bit.
And just a little 5-yard curl there on that particular attempt. Goose Creek. You gotta love, Darren, when you get rosters and you see guys making plays and you go to the roster to see who it is. And
31.
There's no 31 on the roster.
No, there's not.
So we apologize to 31's family, but we don't know who he is.
But
he
he's had a couple of plays.
Yeah, some good ones tonight. There you go.
So here's second down. This is what Jenkins brings you. It's the first time he's been able to show that shiftiness. Anthony Martin was there to cover him up, but it's manageable third down.
And really, since, you know, you talked about it the first quarter when he scored on that touchdown run, but since then, Goose Creek's done a nice job of bottling him up and not allowing him to make those type of open field plays. So, as you mentioned, Darren, a crucial third down coming up here. And if you're Bobby Marion, you almost have to think this is 4-down territory.
Bienvenu is grabbed up high, and then about 5 different Goose Creek players come to help out the senior Jerry Jenkins there, number 91. That's well short of the first.
Also Elijah Dennison on the stop for the Gators. But that short, Darren, I mean, just give it to 33 again and just tell him to run north and south.
They need a yard. The only other time West Ashley went for it on fourth down this game, it was a similar spot. They needed a yard. And they lost 5 or 6.
Yeah, they gave it to the tailback, but we're going to give it to the fullback on this particular play. We've got to get inside the 29-yard line.
So Bienvenu is the lead back there. It's Delliston as the tailback, and Bienvenu literally ripped that one away from Jenkins, who looked like he wanted to pull.
Yeah. He was determined to come up with that first down.
The Avenue's progress is good for another Cruise Subaru. First down.
So 2-minute offense right here, Darren, and it'd be nice if the Wildcats can get in the end zone.
Still somewhat time-consuming. Nice hit. That ball gets to Rodney Griffin, and at the same time, Julian Lawrence, who had a pick 6 in the first half, gets up there to meet him.
6-foot junior. Kind of got there about the same time. But that's a fundamental tackle. Face mask right in the chest. Grab the back and get him on the ground.
Lawrence got lucky there. Jenkins did. He threw that one into a trio of white jerseys, and instead of getting picked off, it's incomplete.
Yeah. Especially at this level, Darren, just very difficult for these guys to roll left, throw across their body, and try to deliver. So for a while there, Delliston was open, but Jenkins just not able to get his feet set and get it to him.
Even though West Ashley is moving with a quicker pace and with more urgency, this drive has already spanned 4 minutes.
Yes.
This is the 13th play of that drive. Bienvenu rumbling inside the 20, and he's down very close to the marker.
Yeah, I can assure you the one thing if you're a member of the Goose Creek secondaries is C-33 running right at you with full steam, and you're kind of on an island. Not an ideal situation.
5'9", 225. Ran for 52 yards. And last week's loss, he's been used more as a receiver. Here, there's another 4th down try. They need 2 yards. That's a low snap. Got it off here to Kershaw, and Kershaw lowers his shoulder. A first down for the Wildcats. Their second 4th down conversion of the drive.
It almost seems like the fumble snap kind of threw the defensive Goose Creek off. They kind of hesitated for just a second, and give credit to Jenkins, able to kind of get this ball off just in the nick of time and to get it over to his teammate Kershaw to pick up the first down.
On the keeper for the Wildcats,
Jenkins nets a few.
Jenkins.
You don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, right? We've got 3 minutes left in the third quarter, but it's already running through both of our minds that they need to pick up the pace.
Yes. Almost take some shots at the end zone just to see what happens.
Well, back to the air, and that was well defended by E.J. Eady. Only one who had a shot at it.
And while obviously you would love to complete that pass, it doesn't necessarily hurt you because at least the clock stops. So it's third down. You have 2 plays to come up with roughly about 8 yards. Let's see what Bobby Marion can kind of pull out of his old bag of tricks to find a way to get his Wildcats in the end zone.
16th play of the drive. Jenkins flustered, pocket collapsing, down he goes. Anthon Williams has recovered nicely from an early injury suffered on special teams. He's made 2 or 3 plays in the backfield.
6'1" senior having a good night tonight. Coming up with the big stop. Now, Darren, you're down 18. I was about to say, do you kick the field goal here, hopefully make it a 15-point game, and at least it's a 2-possession game, and that's exactly what Bobby Marion's going to do.
Sam Story is on to try this kick.
Off the hold of number 1, Kenyatta Jenkins.
So Sampson positioned that at about the 18th, so it's a 28-yard try. The quarterback is the holder here. Sampson Story got it. A missed extra point earlier in the game. They'll get 3 back from a 28-yarder there from Sampson Story, and as Everett pointed out, now it's a 2-possession game.
Exactly. So you've done your job. You got some points. You did take a lot of time off the clock because it's just 1:54 left, but at least now you have a 2-possession game. So if you're Bobby Marion, you talk to your defense, tell them, hey, we just got to get a stop, get a 3 and out, and give the ball back to our offense. Firstly, if you're Chris Candor for Goose Creek, now it's a situation where you don't want to kind of take the air out of the ball, I should say, but you definitely want to take your time as you're approaching the line of scrimmage and really execute and not have any costly turnovers.
Unofficially, I've got that as a 53-yard 17-play drive. It took almost
Set to kick off for the Wildcats.
7 minutes. It took just over 6 minutes on that drive.
Jackson.
You know, that is the one thing if you're Goose Creek,
Set to return.
as you're getting ready to get the ball, you got to figure, if you're West Ashley, you're not going to probably see a lot of passes, so you can definitely play the run.
They've thrown one pass today, have the Gators. It was that man right there, Major, on a halfback option toss that didn't work out. He's got him out to the 37.
A little chippy going on between Goose Creek and West Ashley. A little pushing, nothing serious.
It's two teams that have a markedly different attitude here at the moment. West Ashley got a fiery speech at the half. It was, do your job, you know, man up. And now that you're facing some adversity, can you play better? That's what Bobby Marion told our Eric Scrippa. And Goose Creek so high after a 31-point half, this after scoring 7 points in their first 3 games. So they obviously want to pick up that first victory, and West Ashley's been challenged. So there's a lot of emotion down there right now. You can see it flowing on both sides.
But you really can't be complacent. And when you look at it, Darren, in this third quarter, each team has only had one possession, and we have a minute and 49 left to play. So time is not on the side of the Gators.
Only time the Gators have,
or West Ashley, I should say, I'm sorry.
Right, only time the Gators have not scored was their last drive. It was still a long drive. It just didn't result in any points. And here, gang tackling. That's what you want to see. It's a good sign that this West Ashley defense has ratcheted up a notch. That's Middleton there leading the tacklers.
Number 4, Dante Smith.
Camden Middleton and his teammates doing a nice job of taking away that fullback dive. And especially when it goes to the left there, and you got to figure the quarterback, DeJohn Singleton, is a right-hander. So the thought of making him go left and pitching with that left hand, which is not his strong hands, probably not going to happen. So you can kind of pick up on those tendencies if he goes left.
Hit as he gets through the line of scrimmage. That was Dante Smith. Middleton was there, so was Xavier Legree.
Number 4, Dante Smith.
And that's something we didn't see at all in the first half. Immediate contact for a ball carrier.
Correct. And Chris Cantor talked about it, only running a couple of plays in the first half. He's definitely going to have to come up with something here because Wildcats have done a nice job of making that adjustment and understanding that when they run to the right, it's either going to be a fullback give or the quarterback's going to keep. He's not really going to pitch the football at all.
Bill Peter wanted that play clock reset, so it has now been. You could make the argument Goose Creek can stay somewhat conservative. First time he's been forced to pull it, Xavier Legree strings him down. And yeah, this defense has taken away the clean look from Singleton. They're making him use reads 2 and 3, and it has changed the ability to have success offensively.
And Goose Creek needs to be careful now. Going back deep is Delliston for West Ashley, but somehow I kind of feel the momentum kind of slowly but surely shifting to the side of West Ashley. That's 2 consecutive possessions that they've forced punts by the Gators.
And that'll be the last play of the third quarter. So the Wildcats will get the ball down by 2 scores, but needing a 2-point conversion as part of that to protect their home turf and pick up their second victory in a row in the series with the Gators. 3 quarters are in the books. That third quarter had 2 possessions and 3 additional plays. It breezed on by. That's our scores. We head to the fourth. Friday night rivals driven by Low Country Chevy dealers works our way into the final 12 minutes here of what has been quite a surprising night.
Yes, I think it's safe to say no one really saw this coming. But at the end of the day, the Goose Creek kids believed in themselves, and that's why they have this lead, 31-16.
Now, can they hold it? Here's Blake Ellington's punt. It's a low line drive spiral that took a great hop. It hit a foot away from the sideline and then stayed in.
That was messed up all around. He called for the fair catch. He didn't pick it up when he had a chance, Darren, and then he picked it up with a guy right on his back. But, of course, you can't advance because he'd already called for the fair catch.
Yeah, but you could have touched it and missed, and at that point it would have been a live ball.
Correct.
We're going to crunch more numbers with Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Trust is everything. 163 yards rushing tonight for Goose Creek. That's why this is such a surprise. They've more than doubled their rushing output for the year tonight, and their score has more than quadrupled. But can the Wildcats put some march on here? Can they score a little bit faster than the last drive? That'll help. 11 yards there to Kershaw.
That's a nice throw by Kenyatta Jenkins, throwing on the run. Didn't really have an opportunity to get his feet set, but able to deliver it low where only his wide receiver Kershaw could come up with the catch, and that's what he did. Nice throw by Kenyatta Jenkins.
That last drive took too long. Jenkins with a late decision with James Wilson bearing down on him, and Jerry Jenkins elects to pull that one. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And it's almost to the point now, Darren, if you're going to complete the pass in your West Ashley, you want to do it beyond the first down sticks. You don't want to, have a completion only for a yard or two, or have an incomplete pass, so at least that way the clock will stop.
In that quarter, West Ashley in the third had 53 yards, only had one possession. It happened to be a 17-play possession, and 30 yards for Goose Creek, who continues to have more total yards than West Ashley tonight. Jenkins getting pressured there by Jenkins. Lobs one, and Kershaw wasn't looking.
Yeah, I'm not sure who he was. Well, I guess he's attempting to throw it to Kershaw, but yeah, you're right there. And he had his back to him. That was kind of a awkward-looking pass, kind of like a shot put pass that he tried to get to his wide receiver.
All right, Spirit Award goes to the home team, West Ashley. Congratulations to the ladies of the West Ashley cheer squad. They're the cheer of the night. More of you texted cheer A.
Wouldn't you think, just from a number standpoint, the visiting team should win because they probably don't travel to the game?
Every single time they should win, and I don't recall a time they have. This one pulled back in by Bienvenu, who clearly was looking to throw, and that tackle looked a bit awkward.
Yes. Rolled up on the back of his heel. He's looking for the double pass. You hate to see this, Darren, but you're right. As soon as it happened, it just didn't look good.
Eventually he gets out to the 38, but no, it was just that slow action down after getting hit from behind. We've got our Yaden Chiropractic smooth move of the game, and we have a couple of options for you. I like this one. This is a good smooth move. You take a squib kick and take it back to the house. Pretty smooth.
I mean, that's a good start, I'd say.
The Yaden Chiropractic smooth move of the night. That was Brandon Taylor, brought to you obviously by Yaden Chiropractic.
Well, good to see the young man up with a little assistance, being helped over to the bench.
There's Bienvenu. That's obviously a big part of this offense for West Ashley.
It's been the only really consistent offense. Jenkins has shown flashes of brilliance, but
man, look how quickly they did this. It's a 4th down play. It's intercepted off the hands of Kershaw, who finishes up the play after that. So it's off the hands of Kershaw into those of E.J. Eady. Going for it on 4th down. The Gators take over in good field position.
Almost kind of like was being in the right place at the right time, and Eady executing on the old tip drill. Yeah, Oski after you've come up with the interception, and yeah, good concentration and a nice tackle by Kershaw. Because if not, Eady probably would have been in the end zone.
Second turnover, third turnover tonight for West Ashley. The opening kickoff, a pick six, and now that.
To state the obvious, West Ashley cannot allow Goose Creek to score any points at all. Still a two-possession game right now, but with 10:48 on the clock, they almost really need a turnover here, Darren.
That's exactly, you took the words out of my mouth, because points or no points, you've got 4 plays that you can run here and take off some time. Still, West Ashley needs 2 scores and a 2-point conversion.
I'm Singleton. I'm not snapping the football until there's less than 5 seconds left on the play clock. He's got a play clock right in front of him, so let's see what he does.
It is at 6 when he takes that, but the awareness to not give it to Dante Smith. Rivera could have taken that handoff instead. He'll pick up 2 yards.
And it's really odd, Darren, because when you look at it, 31 points for Goose Creek, you would think the fullback, the tailback, but also the quarterback would have some success, but Singleton really has not run the ball much tonight. It really has been 2 guys that have done this West Ashley defense in.
Tavion Major had a big run. Dante Smith has been huge. He's got the opening score, the opening touchdown run for him, had a big 30-yard run after that.
Dante Inferno, he's been hot tonight.
I like it. So Goose Creek will take the timeout. Chris Kander running down that linesman to call that timeout seconds before Singleton got the snap. And that'll be the final timeout for Goose Creek.
They can smell success. Smell this win.
Will Lou Gray, stop of the game. Deliston spins, and yeah, I like that one from our no-name, our nameless 31. I like it. He deserves recognition. It's 31. Well done, son. And next week for the Friday Night Rivals at Goose Creek, we will know.
That's right.
31's name.
When we talk about never stop learning, that's really been the topic for tonight is this Goose Creek offense. They literally learned this new offense, not new, but to them, in about 10 days, and they have executed perfectly here tonight against West Ashley. Did they go to the school of Will Gray school?
They must have, and they haven't turned it over.
And they hadn't turned it over. Discipline.
Yes.
All the things you want, you can learn at Will Gray School.
Chris Kander and company dial up this for the third down play. Singleton pulls, Singleton and Middleton meet, and Middleton wins it. Spun him shy of the first down marker.
I guess forward progress should get him very close, so maybe 4th and 1, 4th and 2 at the most.
Oh, they did not get a good spot at all. They gave him about a yard.
Well, more importantly, if you're the Gators, the clock is running.
And you're out of field goal range, so you'll go for it.
To me, I'd run the old toss sweep again. I mean, it's worked to perfection time and time tonight. Run it to the wide side of the field and see if you can give it to Major and let him make a play or two.
Singleton's mouth guard is now not connected to the face mask because it was ripped off on that last tackle. Here's Major, the toss sweep. Major gets close. It'll depend on the spot. He had Jay Smith on his back.
Tavion Major on the carry for the Gators, making the tackle.
So we had the right call, just not the right side. Jay Smith there, as you can see, leading the charge for the West Ashley defense.
And I believe he's short. West Ashley's defense believes that, and I thought so as well. So they'll turn it over on downs.
And West Ashley will take over on downs. First down, 10 yards to go.
Obviously, Coach Kander would have loved to have been able to pick up a first down, kind of take some more time off this clock, and hopefully get some points, which more than likely would have sealed the game, but he didn't. So now he'll go back to his defense and rely on them to keep this Wildcat offense out of the end zone.
Very conservative for Goose Creek after their first possession of this half. Pettigrew adjusts to that one behind him. Once again, it's Martin who's in the middle of that play for the Goose Creek defense. And a flag. This is probably going to be unnecessary on, well, I would say Goose Creek for taking the helmet off, but I'm not sure if it was Pettigrew reacting.
But you know, a good job by the officials. A little bit of pushing going on all night long, a little chippiness, and you don't want this game to get out of control. So you send a message by, we blew the whistle, you didn't quit, So hopefully this personal foul against Goose Creek will get everybody calmed down so that these kids can just play football.
Yeah, it's going against Goose Creek. At the very end, you saw the helmet come off late. Here's why.
Penalty on the play, personal foul charge to Goose Creek.
Well, maybe he, just wanted to get a better look at Pettigrew and didn't know what he looked like without his helmet, but he definitely was guilty.
On the 48.
Guilty for sure.
But that's not what Goose Creek wants. You don't want to be giving West Ashley yards. Big hit from Darrell Span, putting down Jenkins after a run of 5.
We talk about adjustments that West Ashley had to make in the second half, but how about the adjustment Goose Creek's made? Early on, back and forth. It was 14-13, and Goose Creek has kept West Ashley out of the end zone since then.
Operating without Bienvenu, who has helped off on West Ashley's last drive. They got it to Dominique Kershaw. That's good for the first down. 6 more yards for Kershaw.
And James Wilson, we've called his name several times. There's a penalty flag on the play. Darren right there in front of the West Ashley bench. Bobby Marion wants to know who the call was on.
Well, I thought West Ashley jumped. I thought one of the receivers did. They'll get the hold instead, so you get 10 yards instead of 5.
It's 10 yards from where the flag is thrown, so that will back it up all the way to the 46-yard line of West Ashley. Let's see if we can find the guilty party. Maybe right there. Yeah, can't really tackle him from the back. It's a good call by the officiating crew, and a sack in the back there.
Anthon Williams again. 3rd or 4th time he's back there. Mark him down at the 37. He lost 9.
Man, 6'1", 240. Senior shot out of his stance. Able to get to Kenyatta Jenkins, and Jenkins really had no time to adjust or do anything. So nice job by the Gator defense. As they used to say, the creek is rising.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot. But this is now 3rd down and a mile. Jenkins swarmed. We've got a flag in.
Wow.
We'll check on the flag. We'll also check on our Zaxby's fans cam here.
Darrell Washington on the stop.
She loves.
Isn't it past their bedtime, Darren? It's 9:45.
It's football.
That's right. No school tomorrow.
That's right.
Kids out, some Wildcat fans.
And good parents. Good parents take their kids to a football game to just have them watch some football.
They want to be future Wildcats.
That's right, and hopefully to tire them out so that when they get home, they just go to bed.
Fall asleep in the car on the drive home.
It was a hold on West Ashley. The penalty was declined, so Goose Creek will force the Wildcats to punt. I think that sack from Anthon Williams at this point is the biggest play of the game. I don't know how that ball was not blocked.
It's gone through his arms.
Good idea, Wilson, not to touch that one.
Yes.
Because what that sack from Wilson just did is it took away any hope of a West Ashley first down.
How did he miss that?
It's almost like he tried. It's almost like Wilson slid to the side.
Just took it off his foot.
So Goose Creek now has that at 34. This offense can eat 6.5 minutes. West Ashley does have the 3 timeouts.
Yeah, I'm sure the offensive staff, led by Chris Collins, the offensive coordinator, basically told quarterback, you know what, let's just work this clock, that being DeJohn Singleton. And
Jay Smith chases the play, wraps the neck. And that's probably where that flag came in, as Smith got a hand on the neck there of Major.
On the carry for the Gators, making the tackle, number 61,
you know, and when you look at this game, Darren, you're very happy for Goose Creek. Obviously, West Ashley, somebody had to win, someone had to lose. But you know, those Goose Creek kids, they weren't going out there and trying to lose on purpose. It was well known, you know, averaging 2 points a game, and they only scored 7. And they could have easily just kind of thrown the towel in and just kind of came out tonight just kind of going through the motions. But they didn't do that. They came out, they played hard, they got the break on the opening kickoff. They took advantage of it, and I think ever since then, they just really they were determined to get this W tonight. So should they hold on for this victory, Kudos to them, because that's what athletes are, and athletics, I should say, is all about. Just never quitting. Game's not played on paper. That's why you have to come out and play every single night.
The call was a hold against Goose Creek, so there's Smith getting 2 of those 10 yards back. And talking with Chris Kander, it's an obvious question from someone covering the game. How are your kids doing, right? You're 0-3. You've switched your offense from what you've just spent months putting in.
Right.
Haven't been able to move the ball at all. So how are they doing? And his answer was, I think they're doing pretty well, but you could tell there was a question. And it was, how will the team respond? Will they see something positive? And the opening kickoff is fumbled. The first play from scrimmage, Dante Smith takes it in for a touchdown. And you're right. The momentum was on their side. They haven't trailed at all today.
Right.
And right now they don't mind just eating up the clock here. They played very conservatively, knowing that West Ashley has to win this game. They're not going to lose it for them. Right. West Ashley has to win.
And this is almost the Goose Creek that we were accustomed to seeing back in the glory days under Chuck Grady. Just option football, physical, controlling the line of scrimmage, playing solid defense. And that's what we've seen tonight from this Goose Creek team. So you're right there. You have to worry about the kid's psyche. And it's one thing to be 0-3. But it's also another thing to be 0-3 and only scored 7 points, only had 16 first downs and 210 yards in those 3 games.
Singleton pulls it. He's stopped about 2 yards in front of the line of scrimmage. Bobby Marion will take his first time out here of the half. 4:36 to go. Yeah, it's not as though they were just 0-3. They were unable to get anything going offensively, and they have only stopped themselves here in the second half going conservative. In the first half, weren't stopped at all. Very, very impressive night for Goose Creek. Can they hold on with 4:36 to go and a timeout on the field? Our Chevy Silverado drive of the game. It was here in the third quarter. Goose Creek was driving. West Ashley was, I should say. And Goose Creek just rose up to the challenge here. They finally get them off the field. Dominique Kershaw had a big part of it, but tell you what, I think that could be the play of the game. Anthon Williams right there.
Yeah, because you got to figure if they score there, then all of a sudden it becomes interesting. It could be a situation where it becomes a one-possession game. So good job by the Creek defense. Like it's loud, Darren, when I have on headsets, you're sitting next to me, and I still can't hear you because we're under the PA system.
Right. Not only are we not in the press box, not only are we in a tent, that tent is directly under a speaker. But hey, we're having fun. We're watching football.
It's Friday night. That's what it's all about. Friday night lights in the Low Country.
See, we're not lying. So here we are. We're in a tent. Other way. See, we went high end zone last time, so now we're going low end zone. What's up? How you guys doing? So here we are, and this is our lovely perch.
Yeah, that's just what we do.
Yeah, it's how we roll in, I think, a red tent.
Yeah. Now, see, we need to get like a telestrator so we can draw on the telestrator and,
There's one tent in the stands. It's ours.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I think tents are frowned upon in high school football games.
I don't think. It's something you see every day at a football game is a tent in the middle of the stands.
No.
Yeah. And if you do, you might want to check the football game that you're at.
Yes, I would agree. West Ashley did not need that. They just handed over 5 yards with an encroachment there.
So, Darren, next week, Dean will be back. So where are you guys headed to next week?
The Creek. Goose Creek and Ashley Ridge. See if Goose Creek is riding the momentum of a big win or if they are just left to pick up the pieces of what was positive. I think that storyline develops in the next 4-19.
Of course, I saw Ashley Ridge when they played.
Where was I? I don't know. I was somewhere,
You
but
were
I
out of
was
town.
watching. You guys got that delay in
It was
that
Ashley Ridge in Colleton County.
Okay.
Ashley Ridge has the quarterback, the younger brother.
Another Duncan.
Yep. Lefty, sophomore, good-looking player. Also had a running back that was very shifty that did a good job that night. So that should be a good one, especially if this Goose Creek team that we've seen tonight shows up next week. You'll have a treat. They're up at the creek.
And the thing for Goose Creek this week, Chris Kander was very candid with Eric Escripa at the half. They didn't run a whole lot of plays.
No.
It was dive, it was toss sweep. There wasn't a whole lot on Singleton. They'll have to add some.
Just find what you do and continue to do it and be good at it.
Third down now coming up.
When you think about this Goose Creek team, the guys that have come out of this program, Tremel Terry, who's not Jacksonville State, but originally went to Georgia, and Brandon Shell, who plays in the NFL, I believe, with the Jets. And you have Kinlaw. You got one Kinlaw, I think it's Javon, that's at South Carolina right now. And you got not Rodney Kinlaw, the tailback. He went to Wisconsin. I think he's back at Georgia Tech.
That's not. No, Rodney was one of the first Kinlaws.
Rodney went to Penn State.
Right.
Someone will text me.
And of course, Brandon Shell, Art's grandson, started his career at West Ashley and went over to Goose Creek. Nephew.
Right.
Not grandson. Nephew. Went over to Goose Creek.
Correct.
At the time when Goose Creek was really rolling. Made the decision for the better interest of his family and his future to get more eyes from scouts on him, and went to where the scouts converged.
Yeah.
Where Goose Creek was. And it worked out, right? Full ride to South Carolina, now in the NFL. So
we've had some great players that come through the Low Country. Talk about those guys, and you think about A.J. Green, you think about Carlos Dunlap, you think about Byron Maxwell. Just phenomenal players. Otrey Smith got his first collegiate touchdown last week at South Carolina. I was in Jacksonville with our good buddy Harold Craw.
GM
And
saw him watching Jumbo Shrimp.
That's right. So we're watching Clemson handle its business against Louisville. All of a sudden, my phone, Darren, just starts blowing up. I'm like, what is going on? And it's like, hey, did you see that? You see? And I'm like, see what? And of course, Otrey, I just happened to flip over, and they were showing a replay of him catching it. So congratulations to him. A big game tomorrow against Louisiana Tech. Skip Holtz, first time back in Columbia since he left.
Since the Holtz days.
Yes.
Good to see Bienvenu back on the field, trying another pass, and that would have ended the game. But it is off the hands of Martin there.
Well, the old saying, that's why he's in the secondary, not playing wide receiver.
They've got a couple picks today.
Just kind of threw that one up.
And now it's 4th and 10.
Martin playing center field and just could not come up with the catch.
West Ashley needs this first down for any hope in this game. They can only stop it once Goose Creek gets the ball back. And needing 2 scores and a 2-point conversion, that, barring a miracle, just won't happen.
Stranger things have happened, Darren Goldwater.
Well, if they don't get this first down, that'd be pretty strange. And they went to their bag of tricks, and it's not going anywhere. Julian Lawrence with a big-time hit on Delliston. He, who had a pick 6 that gave him 31 points going into the half there, Julian Lawrence.
Take a look at the replay here. You don't normally like to see that one maybe to the wide side of the field to kind of give you a little more room to maneuver, but they ran it to the short side and unfortunately did not work for the Wildcats. And it appears that the Goose Creek Gators are going to pick up their first region and win of the year.
And West Ashley in the process would fall to 0-2 in the region after a 2-0 start in non-region play. Now Goose Creek has to hold on to the football here. That's the only purpose of this possession at this point.
Ball carrier for the Gators, number 4, Dante.
Remember you were talking about pickle juice?
Yes.
And how you tried it, which is far better than the fact that it's actually used. Have you tried Bana, B-A-N-A? That's being used a lot as well. I know Cane Bay uses that. I got a tweet. Charleston Onion, a lot of people call him Charlestonian on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Apparently it's Charleston Onion.
Yeah.
Big fan of Friday Night Rivals. We
There you
appreciate
go.
you watching. His son played, I believe, past tense at Cane Bay. He might still be there. Anyway, they use Bana.
Okay.
Oh, he has another son there now.
Gotcha.
Nick Case knows everything in the truck. But Nick, we need you up here as our official statistician.
Yes. Nick is like Mr. Pittsburgh. Penguins, Steelers, Pirates. That's his thing.
Yeah, he even writes some stories for the Pittsburgh team.
Oh, I did not know that.
He does. Website and everything. There were still 14 seconds on the play clock, and that was not a smooth handoff at all. And it's the first touch of the game for Simmons.
Wow, that's a big, big defensive lineman right there for the Wildcats. A nice stop. They're playing to the end. Malachi Gant, 6'1", 240, the senior. Leading the charge for Bobby Marion.
You wonder if Marion takes a timeout if they stop Goose Creek on this play. The only timeout he's got left. Tavion Martin lowers that shoulder, got himself small, and Marion will in fact take his final timeout as his team takes over at about their own 44. So in the second half, ever since Goose Creek got the ball to begin the half and had a marathon drive, they had a 10-play drive and turned it over on downs. After that, Goose Creek has not been able to have any success on the ground, anything like what they did in the first half.
Right.
But Chris Kander has played it close to the vest. He knew his defense was in position to win this game for him. And as long as his team didn't lose the game, West Ashley would have to win it. This is your key player of the game, and it is Dante Smith. That was the first play from scrimmage after the opening kick was fumbled. Oh, and Tavion Martin. We have a dual player of the game.
Really, that's been all offense for Goose Creek tonight. Those two individuals, they've had solid game on the ground tonight. So congratulations to Dante Smith and Tavion Major for their performance tonight.
So the task for West Ashley here is right in front of them. 2:23 to go. You need 2 scores and a 2-point conversion. And the onside kick in between them.
A lot has to happen. But again, ever since last year's Super Bowl, I don't put anything out of reach.
So they had more time, though.
True. Or even this year, you think about that Texas A&M UCLA game.
Oh, that was wild.
Crazy.
And then Josh Rosen couldn't do it against Memphis.
Correct. Excited for college football tomorrow. I know you're Nittany Lions. I mean, Darren, it's not too crazy to think. We could see your Nittany Lions and Clemson Tigers there in Atlanta.
At least in the playoffs, where you could make the case they should have been last year.
Yeah.
I'll leave it right there. As a Penn State grad, I am happy that they actually were not in the playoffs last year, while they deserved it based on winning the Big Ten and beating Ohio State. That team was not ready for the next stage. So it was better to go play in that Rose Bowl, which was the best game of bowl season until the national championship, and then ride the success. I mean, if you go to the playoffs and get pounded, you need some good feeling.
One particular team. Actually, we look at the score right now, Darren. I mean, if you really took away 16 points from West Ashley, you could insert that team's name right there and put Clemson where Goose Creek is, and be 31-0.
Yep.
Yeah. Particular Big Ten team
that may or may not have had a business being in that game in the first place.
Which is my whole point.
Yeah. Kershaw with his tumbling axe. He may have learned that at Little Gym in his younger days, where my daughter is. Obsessed with Little Gym. She climbs on the couch now. Anything. Anything that's possible, she's on.
And you know, Darren, if you're looking for positives, if you're Bobby Marion, that was close.
That was not going to be one of them.
Right. You, after giving up 31 points in the first half, you have, well, shut out this Goose Creek team in the second half. I know they really didn't do a lot of things in the second half offensively, but give credit to your kids. They did not quit. Now, unfortunately, they were only able to put 3 points on the board, but, again, they didn't quit. They played all the way to the end. They're still trying here with 1:52 left to play, and maybe that's something that you can build on later on in the season.
And that's all Bobby Marion wanted out of the half. He wanted his guys to compete. How are they going to fare when they face adversity? You know, the first half was really clean. There were very few penalties. Those have picked up here in the second half.
But I think it's safe to say if you're Ashley Ridge, well, next week, as you're preparing, probably look to contain Mr. Smith, Dante Smith, as pretty much the first option. And then, of course, you know, you look at Tavion Major, he's the second option, and almost have to have that mindset that you're going to make the quarterback, that being DeJon Singleton, beat you next week.
Almost intercepted again. Got a score update coming for you. Wow. Whoa. Fort Hays 70. They could have done that last week. Wando bounces back from a similar beating from Fort Dorchester and gets back on the winning track. Ashley Ridge up against it a little bit with Somerville. Charleston Onions boys. Cane Bay got the lead.
Looks like it'd be a good football game, hand in hand. Trailing by 7. Yeah, Fort Dorchester just... Man, what Steve LaPratt has done with that program, you have to be very impressed.
I've been an observer of high school sports in this area for 15 years since I moved here. It is without question, and there is not someone who stands close to second place. Without question, the best team I've seen in 15 years here.
Yeah, but I don't know, those Goose Creek teams with Chuck Reedy, they were pretty impressive as well.
They were.
They did a lot of the same, and the thing is they had ball control, so they probably would have kept the carry-on Joyner and that offense on the sidelines.
Nice stop there by Kershaw, cuts back to the inside, and then gets out of bounds. So that's the best part of what Kershaw did. He got out of bounds with 1:23 to go. Still some life.
And again, rolling right, which is his strong side, and able to throw on the run, deliver a strike to his wide receiver. A nice play, and it'll keep the drive moving for the Wildcats.
And Goose Creek playing very conservatively on defense. There's a lot of room to work, but there is no ability to stop the clock. That's not a first down either.
Kershaw's going to end up with a big night tonight. A lot of catches, a lot of yards.
And this West Ashley team, Kershaw being one of them, Jenkins another, Bienvenu, a lot of juniors.
Yep.
Delston's a junior. So this is kind of the beginning for West Ashley. Back across his body, that will bring up second down. So they did give Kershaw the first down after that catch.
You know, momentarily he had, it looked like it was Kershaw open at the top of the field. And Jenkins elected to attempt to get it to Delliston. The only positive of that, Darren, is the clock will stop with 1:04 left to play.
Last week, with about 30 seconds to go, Jenkins hit Sass for a touchdown to pull him within 3 points of Ashley Ridge.
And you almost have to think here, Darren, they have to take some shots at the end zone.
That's not going to help, and that will keep the clock running as well. So Jenkins, who could have picked it up and thrown it away, preserves the possession.
And no timeout, so they've got to hurry.
And they got to get set. This is just almost 20 seconds off the clock here.
Just a lot of walking around, no sense of urgency trying to get to their spots.
That pretty much just cost them the game here. Whether or not it would be possible to make this comeback, that'll bring up 4th down. I mean, any shot is gone falling on the ball and losing 20 seconds.
So you see here the pass attempted to Miles White, just could not connect. And 4th down, and you have to think if the Wildcats, well, obviously they don't pick up about just like 17, 18 yards. Turnover and downs, and the win will officially go to the Goose Creek Gators.
Wildcats need to get inside of the 5. Wilson hurries him out of the pocket. It's almost picked, and it doesn't matter. Goose Creek never trailed today, not once.
And look at Chris Kander on the sideline, greeting his defense as they come off the field. And that's an excited bunch. The ride back to the creek tonight will be a happy and joyous one as Goose Creek will pick up their first victory of the night.
And it'll be a good week because now the kids can honestly believe that this switch to the option is what this team needs. The defense was stellar, particularly in the first half, leading to the 31-point outburst in the first half. They had 7 points on the year in 3 games coming in. They had 210 yards coming in 3 games, and almost doubled that in the first half, more than quadrupled the points. And Goose Creek will come in here and stun West Ashley. Not many times you could say Goose Creek will stun West Ashley, but tonight is one of those nights.
Yes.
They pounded them. They never trailed. They scored in all 3 phases of the game and are well deserving of their first win of the year. Not only that, it's a region win. So they're 1-1 in arguably the 2nd toughest region in the state, and West Ashley falls to 0-2 in that region.
Just tipping the cap to Goose Creek again. They never quit. They came to play. They believed that they could win, and that's exactly what they did. So congratulations to Chris Kander, his staff, and the Goose Creek Gators.
Much needed win for the Gators. And Chris Kander and Bobby Marion, good friends, used to work together for years here and at Stratford. Well, this one goes Kander's way, and his team picks up its first victory of the year and did so in fairly dominant fashion, particularly there in the first half. We'll step aside. When we bring you back, we'll have the trophy presentation. And you want these kids to get more excited? Well, not only did you pick up your first win, you're going to get rewarded with it and then jump back on the bus. Stick around with us. We'll get you there for it.
They're not playing this.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your post-game entertainment, we present the West Ashley High School Marching Band as they set up to be presenting their competitive marching show entitled Mad World. The Cat Band is under the direction of Stacy Cooper. She is assisted by Arlana
As expected, everyone's ready to go down there. They want that trophy. They deserve that trophy. They being the Gators. Erica Scrippa is with the team.
All right, then, guys. Yeah, we're on the field right now. Winning team here, Goose Creek. They didn't trail the entire game. They led and came out with a 15-point win. How does it feel, Coach?
Feels great. You know, it's our first win of the season, and it's very exciting for the players. They'll enjoy it tonight. I'll enjoy it a little bit tonight myself, and before I get to working on Ashley Ridge for next week. But, you know, we came out, we started strong, and we held on in the second half. We got to, you know, get back to practice on Monday, start working on how we finish games, see if we can't close it out a little better than we did. But very proud of the team's effort. You know, they definitely could have hung their hat and hung their head and, you know, gave up on it, but they've kept on fighting, and they're going to keep on fighting all year long.
Sure, you want to take this momentum, take this win through for the rest of the season.
Definitely. You know, that's step one. You know, we're going to try to improve each and every week, try to get number 2 next week. And then that's one at a time we're going to worry about. And, you know, we'll see what we did well on film, see what we did poorly, and try to correct those things we did poorly and you know, see if we can't get better by next week.
Well, congrats, Coach. We want to give you this trophy.
That's awesome. Hard work and a tough couple of weeks rewarded here. They'll take that trophy, put it in the trophy case back at Goose Creek, and get back to work. And you know what? You can follow their progress with us because we'll be there.
Exactly.
Ashley Ridge will travel to Goose Creek. That'll be next week on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. Thanks for all our sponsors making FNR possible. Just told you next week where we're going. We're following Goose Creek. They always play well on TV. Maybe they will again next week. Final score 31-16. Tune into ABC News 4 at 11. Friday Night Rivals. Get the complete rundown of scores from around Low Country. For my partner, Everett German, Erica Scrippa, everyone back in the truck. Awesome job. I'm Darren Goldwater. See you next week. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers.